The story begins with the protagonist waking up one day and regaining memories of her previous life. The eldest daughter of a count's family, Layla Vivienne, realized that she had been reincarnated into the world of an automata game she had played in her past life, Reflected Spirits. A classic story where a commoner heroine awakens rare magical powers, enrolls in a magic academy, and deepens her bond with 5 romanceable characters. And she was Layla Vivienne, the Villainess. She was the crown prince's fiancée and a rival to the heroine. She had silky silver hair like moonlight, thoughtful, with clear eyes like amethyst. She never bullied the heroine and wasn't very villainous at all. In fact, she was quite a popular character. Even she had to admit she was cute and didn't look like a villainess at all. The reason she thought that game was trash was because of how Layla was treated. Because of the heroine, Layla ends up breaking off her engagement with the crown prince. Then someone frames her for a crime just to get her out of the way. In the end, she went mad and was imprisoned for a crime she didn't commit. And then the crown prince and heroine, feeling guilty, say stuff like they would never forget Layla's sacrifice. They wrap it up like it was a touching ending and call it a happy ending. And if things go the same way, Layla will die again. While she was looking at her reflection, her brother Melvin came and asked what was wrong. She was staring at herself so intently. Seeing her in the mirror and the real Layla, he said it was twice the cuteness. Melvin, her dear brother, was exceptionally handsome and highly intelligent, but was an extreme siscon. Melvin said that even during story time he would be surrounded by 2 Laylas. Melvin was one of the capture targets, so if she captured her brother, she might not end up dead. She suddenly told her brother that she wanted to marry him. Melvin was shocked at first, but then said he wanted to marry her too. But under current laws, siblings cannot marry. Layla said she knew, but still she loved him. That's why her dream for the future was to help him with his duties and always stay by his side. Melvin was over the moon and said they were going to be together forever. Layla planned to stay home and avoid going to school. She wouldn't get engaged to the crown prince. If she got an elite education and learned to assist with duties and carved her own path, she wouldn't get dragged into the heroine's storyline. In the game, the only route where Layla didn't die was her brother's route. 8 years later, when she was 16, she told her parents that she didn't want to attend the Magic Academy. Her parents, William and Rachel Vivienne, were both shocked. She said that romantic relationships between students were scary, and she hated them. Getting left out and having a dull youth was pointless. Lord William told her that she was letting her imagination run wild. Besides, graduating from that academy would benefit her future. But Layla had already gotten her diploma. Lord William wondered what this happened. He told her that at school she was supposed to learn human connection, and there was practical training there. But the exam already included practicals too. Her father had never heard of this and immediately suspected Melvin. Melvin said Layla was a genius, so there was no problem at all. He said that she didn't want to go to school and he wanted to stay by her side. This was just the natural outcome. In the future, the 2 of them will manage their territory together and live happily. Lord William stated that he was against this, and even if she did have a diploma, it wouldn't change anything. She must attend the academy. Layla handled the bare minimum of socializing, but only at parties where there were no capture targets. Even so, it wasn't enough to be the daughter her father wanted her to be. She was just trapped, thinking she needed to have the same background as everyone else. Any path should be valid no matter how she took it, because she didn't want to die. But that wasn't something she could say out loud to anyone. She thought about doing it if that was the case. Suddenly, a beautiful wolf appeared out of nowhere, staring right at her face. She immediately figured that she wasn't just an ordinary wolf. The wolf confirmed her. She said that there was a child with a mismatched mind and appearance, and she found it amusing, so she had been observing Layla for a long time. Layla was amazed because it was speaking directly into her mind. She said she could have used her for her research project if she had shown up earlier. She responded that catching a dark spirit and hearing it speak was so interesting. She asked why she was showing herself now. She responded that she was planning to run away from this house. In that case, she thought she would come along because watching a human she liked was fun. Layla was surprised that she figured out she was planning to run away that easily. The wolf then asked her to give her a name. Layla was surprised because Layla didn't have a spirit in the game. She asked if she was serious. The wolf said she had always wanted to try making a contract with a human at least once, and she had often thought it would be fun to set off on a journey with her. She really seemed to like her a lot. Layla thought about it for a moment, and inspired by those golden eyes, she named her Luna. With that, she felt warmth in her body, and the contract was completed. After Luna disappeared, Melvin came and said he had persuaded their father. She asked if he agreed. Melvin said he wasn't completely in agreement, but he thought the situation was a bit better now. It was still what he wanted though. He said that he sensed that Layla was about to run away from home just now, and that Layla had gained something that would push her to do it. He was frustrated. He said that if there was a choice between that and Layla running away, this was the better option. Layla said he would never do something like that, but he didn't believe her because even if she tried to hide it, he could tell. He said it might be because it was a miracle, or intuition. He was the kind of man who had to fully understand everything about her. He had researched her likes and dislikes, her thoughts and tendencies, and there was nothing he couldn't figure out. Layla started to get nervous. He said that's why he wouldn't allow her to run away. If she were going to leave him in this house, they might go with their mother's idea. Their mother appeared right behind Melvin and told him that he was scaring Layla. Layla asked what was going on. Her mother said she presented her father with a compromise. Her plan started years ago, which meant attending that academy must have been that unbearable for her. Forcing someone like her would only lead to bad results for both sides. She suggested that both of them make some concessions. Both sides trying to force their desires would lead to nothing. Layla didn't want to be a student, and her father wanted her to learn about social interaction. In that case, she had a proposal. So the plan Layla spent years working on had failed, and things didn't go along the route she had envisioned, but still, that didn't mean she was giving up. In the next scene, Layla was about to attend the academy. The day had finally come and she was walking to the academy. Luna appeared and asked if she wasn't going to the academy. There was a back entrance for staff and she was going to enter that way. Luna found her different, and she could sense that she was nervous. She said that she was a little, from being shut in to suddenly living in a dorm after all. Personally, Luna thought it was a good thing that she was apart from her pervert brother. Layla could agree with her on that topic, but she said she would be fine because she had Luna with her. While she was talking with her, her uncle Theodore came and was glad that she had made it without getting lost. It had been a while since Layla saw him, and she said she had missed him. Uncle Theodore was her father's much younger brother and a researcher in dark magic. He was so skilled at magic that rumors say the academy scouted him, and now he was working as a medical officer too. He used to play with her brother and her when they were kids. He was a gentle, soft-spoken man. Theodore asked if her eyesight had gotten worse because she was wearing glasses. Layla explained that this was just a fashion and it was trending now. He also noticed that she brought a rather large friend with her. She realized that her uncle could see Luna. He could see she was in a dark spirit. Luna was surprised that he could see through her identity. Theodore was more surprised because she could talk. Luna asked if he could hear the voice because she thought only contracted partners could talk to spirits. Luna explained that if the person had magic of the same attribute, it was an exception. Someone with magical talent could not only see spirits but also hear their voices. Theodore was shocked seeing spirit contracts and communication had that kind of nuance, and wanted to research this immediately. Having Layla, who made a contract with a dark spirit as her assistant, was a great idea, and he asked her to stay by his side forever. As one could see, he was enthusiastic about research. So much so that he was nearly 30 and still had never had a girlfriend. Layla wanted to change the subject, so she asked if the infirmary was in this way. They went to Theodore's infirmary and it was actually cleaner than she expected. She assumed his infirmary would be buried in an avalanche of junk. He said he cleaned up. Layla assumed it must be tough doing it alone and suggested getting more medical staff. He said he was good, and besides, he had figured out how to manage it by himself. It was expected because he hated people. He gave her a lab coat and it suited her. What Layla proposed was for her to assist her uncle, who was family. In other words, she wouldn't be attending as a student but as a medical assistant at the academy. The condition was that she continued the job until her classmates graduated. Also, since she was in the correspondence course, she hadn't had as many practical exams, so by taking tests behind the scenes to make up for that, she would be able to officially graduate. She felt so good that her mother understood what she hated. But to accept her proposal, she had to prepare. She had to obtain the basic qualification for medical support and a certificate in herb mixing. If she couldn't do it in 1 year, she would have to enroll normally, so from that point on, she studied non-stop. She worked harder than she did for her university entrance exams in her past life. Even so, the reason she pushed so desperately was to avoid the death ending. Theodore said she was serious about this and she really didn't want to attend the academy that badly. She responded that she was always serious. Theodore wished her good luck on her practical exam. There was no way she could afford to fail. She then remembered something she had to give him. It was a moonflower. He asked if it was really okay to give him something this rare. She said yes, and she was so glad he was happy. She went through all that just to pick it. Last night she was at the river with Luna, and she asked if she was okay. Layla said she was, and once she took it off it was no big deal. Luna said she was so capable but still careless in a weird way. Wearing a hard-to-move-in dress to collect herbs was her first mistake. Luna was shocked when she suddenly fell into the lake. When Layla went out of the lake, completely naked, she saw Felix, the crown prince. She was shocked because there was no scene like this in the game. There was no scenario where the crown prince met a naked stranger swimming in a midnight lake. She told him not to look at her and forget about her. Luna found her incredibly suspicious. The prince begged her to tell him who she was. Luna said this man had decided that she was his mate. In human terms, that would be love at first sight. He was showing typical male instincts. She asked Luna to help her. Luna decided to help and said she would use teleportation magic. Thanks to Luna, she somehow managed to escape that situation. But she was still shaken by that incident. She just wanted to score some favor by giving her uncle the moonflower he wanted. And that little scheme ended up backfiring. Her glasses were actually special glasses for disguises. Of all things, Prince Felix was also entering this academy today, and she didn't want to run into him. But if by any chance she did, she must not let him realize she was that suspicious person from last night. Suddenly they heard a lot of noise coming from outside. Theodore said he was leaving the rest to her and went to the research lab. Luna also hides. Someone knocked on the door and asked if there was a medical officer here. She said yes and let them in. It was Prince Felix and Lily Jolm. He said that she got injured. Layla was frozen because she forgot one thing. The protagonist Lily, who was originally a commoner, awakened to light magic and was adopted into a baron's family. Still unsure if she could fit in with the nobility, she entered the magic academy with anxiety in her heart. But right after enrollment she was harassed by a noble lady and pushed to the ground, and then Prince Felix appeared like destiny, helped her and brought her to the infirmary. She completely forgot about this. This was Prince Felix's first treatment event. The scenario had already started. Since she looked about the same age as them, Prince wondered if she was a student. Layla calmed herself down because he hadn't realized she was the suspicious person from last night. She said she was Layla Vivienne, assistant medical officer at Soleil Levant Magic Academy. She said she was the same age as all of them, but she had already earned her graduation qualifications and held a medical license, so rest assured. She asked how she could help them and informed them that she could get Officer Vivienne for them. Prince Felix was surprised that a count's daughter used the grade-skipping system. He said he felt like he had seen her somewhere before. She told him that she didn't go out a lot, and it must be his imagination. Luna mentioned that the illusion effect she put on the glass was working. It was weak but enough to fool someone she had only met once. Layla then asked what happened to the girl. He said she twisted her ankle a bit earlier. She asked if she could take a look over there. Layla sat and took out her sock. Layla checked her and said it wasn't very swollen. She used a magic-infused healing patch to fade the pain quickly. Prince Felix was impressed by Layla. After she was treated, Prince said the entrance ceremony was about to start and suggested heading back now. Layla realized that she had just ruined the event. In this world, magic was divided into 6 elements: fire, water, wind, earth, light, and dark. Among them, light and dark magic, which could be used for healing, were quite rare. Layla possesses light magic, and her magical power is both strong and very special. In the next scene, Prince Felix sat in front of Layla and confirmed that she was the same age as him. He said that it was unusual for someone to be working at that age. She responded that she had her reasons. It seemed that Prince Felix had taken an interest in her, but it was normal because most noble girls were busy trying to find a marriage partner. They never miss a social gathering, and if they attend school, they make the most of it. Skipping grades or choosing remote learning meant fewer chances, so it was rare and made Layla stand out. But she didn't think he would notice an assistant like her. Prince said he had a fateful encounter with a goddess yesterday and she reminded him of her, so he got curious. Besides, this place was peaceful, so he said he might come and talk with her from time to time. She wasn't sure if someone like her would be a good conversation partner for him. He said he trusted his instincts when it came to people. It was hard to find someone who wasn't after something, so when Prince found one, he tried to make them his friend. Layla said she understood how he felt. She then wanted to change the subject and stated that it was time for the lessons to start and he was the representative of the new students. Prince stood up and said goodbye to her. The moment he left, Luna scolded Layla for getting along with him. But this was beyond her control. It was only a matter of time before they found out who she really was, and she was really nervous enough about the entrance ceremony. Theodore came and said she was off to a good start. After that, they head to the entrance ceremony. When the principal started introducing the staff to the students, Layla noticed that the girls were looking at her and confirmed that she was definitely on a different path than the one in the game. She introduced herself as the assistant medical officer and promised to do her best to support everyone in having a meaningful school life. She thought that this was the beginning of her life as a medical student, but it was actually a life as an errand runner. Once again, Theodore gave her some material for her to bring from the library. Her uncle was even more shut in than she was, so Layla was doing all the work. While she was looking for the materials, Luna used sound magic to pick up the voices nearby and she made her hear what people were talking about her. They found her beautiful, genius, and brilliant. They were all sure that she was someone special. It was funny that they were saying all that when she was just being bossed around. While she was trying to reach for a book, Prince Felix helped her get it and greeted her. He gave her the book and she thanked him. She commented that his speech as the freshman representative was truly wonderful. While they were talking, they saw Lily fall while trying to reach a book. Lily realized that she had ruined another event. She told Prince Felix that she was fine now and asked him to go and talk to her. He was puzzled because he thought someone else could lend a hand too. But he still listened to her and went to help her. There was still a chance she might become the prince's fiancé in this world too. She left the library while they were talking. She really needed to be careful. The next day she finished today's potion making. Next was preparing for the practical exam. She had to master the barrier spell first. Luna mentioned that if she tweaks barriers, they could work soundproofing or hiding someone. The idea was to form a barrier using air and then distort it. In that case, she could use artificial magic crystals. Someone barged into the room asking her to hide him. It was Prince Felix again. She asked what happened and the prince asked if she could help him hide properly. She didn't really understand why he wanted that, but still wanted to test it out. She told him to stand behind the sofa. The spelling wasn't perfect, but it worked flawlessly. She could still see him, but she told him that he was hidden now. Another person came to the infirmary asking Prince Felix why he was running away. He asked him to come out from behind there. This person was the second romance option in the game. He was Prince Felix's childhood friend. Harold Dyer was born into a noble family that served the royal house. He was a serious, proper knight type of person. Layla approached him to let him explain what was going on. He was startled by her at first, but then said he was looking for the prince and he heard he came this way. Harold was actually a super shy and innocent guy who couldn't even make eye contact with girls. Layla told him that Prince wasn't here. He sat down without asking, so she gave him some tea. She told him to rest a bit and explained that there was a magic spell on that seat that helps you relax. While sipping his drink, he asked if he could talk with her for a moment. She told him to go ahead, and he started telling her what happened today. Apparently, the whole academy was buzzing with a certain rumor that the crown prince and a girl with light magic fell in love at first sight, that the prince was paying special attention to Lady Lily. He tried to ask the prince about it in detail, but for some reason he ran away from him. Layla asked if he might be scared by his serious expression. He didn't realize until that moment that his face was stiff and asked if that was the reason why his questioning didn't go well. She asked why he was in such a panic, and he said if this was about engagement or marriage, he thought the prince would have a hard time. Since she was a former commoner, it would be complicated and they would need to investigate her background too. The prince had never been involved in such rumors before, so he got worked up and panicked. The prince, who was hearing this behind the barrier, smiled at his friend for being thoughtful. Layla stated that she understood his concern well. She said she saw the two of them herself, and while Lady Lilia seemed sincere, the prince didn't seem particularly attached. She asked if it was even possible for love to grow so quickly, just a day after meeting. Harold agreed with her and comforted himself that the prince was smart after all. Layla noticed that his expression had brightened up, and she was sure that if he talked to him now, he would listen to him. Harold thanked her and said he would try to speak with him calmly. Layla wished him good luck. After he left, Prince Felix appeared and smiled at her. She said everything was fine now. Prince appreciated her help and was almost sure that she was some kind of beast tamer because she could talk normally with that Harold in that state. Layla said he had calmed down now, and he should go back to him and listen to what he had to say. However, Prince Felix ended up sitting down again, asking her if she would listen to him too. She had no choice but to say yes, so she sat in front of him. He mentioned his fateful encounter, and Layla remembered. He said that only the moon shone over the lake that night. She stood there in her natural form, her skin pale and smooth, almost transparent. As if shy, she leaned against the wolf beside her. In a faint voice, she told him not to look at him. Because she, a foolish human, laid eyes on her. The moon goddess disappeared. Layla stared at him and did not say a word because it was so embarrassing knowing the moon goddess he was talking about was her. He said that this was 2 days ago and asked if that was love at first sight. The situation was so awkward. Prince said he really wanted to see her again. He said that he wasn't happy with the current situation. He had never had much interaction with women before. Just because he spoke to Lady Layla, weird rumors started. Things like they were engaged or mutual love at first sight really made him uncomfortable. He already had someone he liked. He said he knew he would probably have to accept a political marriage someday, but at least while he was in school he wanted some freedom. So he ended up acting the way he did to avoid any flags with Lady Lily. Layla said she was sorry for that. Prince told her that it wasn't her fault. His father originally told him to support Lady Lily, the girl of light, so he figured this would happen eventually. They were certainly a pair likely to attract rumors. But it was just like in the game, she was surrounded by noble boys. But before any romance routes were locked in, there weren't any serious love rumors. Everyone knew that someone with light magic like her needed protection. Layla suggested announcing it from the start. It made sense to him. If it were truly secret, they would have been told up front. He stood up and said no one would need to poke around suspiciously. If they got a few people to cooperate and say it was strictly for her protection, it could work. Prince told her that he had decided what to do next, and talking about it helped him feel better. He thanked her for listening. More than anything, she was the only one he could talk to about his first love, so he was thankful. When he left, Leela stood there in silence for a moment. Luna appeared and claimed that she was falling for him. Leela strictly opposed that she was not falling in love. This was all unexpected, but if it made him happy, she was happy too. Luna said now that she had tamed those two as well, school life was looking bright. Leela said it was beyond her control but still wondered if she was going to be able to manage all this. In the next scene, Leela overheard students talking about Prince Felix and Lily. They say they were together because he was guarding her, but it was weird for the crown prince to be the one doing the guarding. The others were all sons of noble families too. But she had gotten the light attribute after all. Some of them were opposed to this because he was just a commoner, and yet she acted all familiar with the prince. Layla felt uncomfortable with the way they were talking, so she turned and told the students that it was almost time for the class. They said they would come back and left for class. It had been a while since she became a medical assistant. The academy infirmary, of course. Its real purpose was for treatment, but it turned out to be a hangout for students in every world, and Prince Felix and Harold were no exception. The other day they brought in a huge supply of royal-approved tea. Them coming this often was a bit of a problem. She believed a school nurse should be someone students could rely on. While she was studying, she heard the door open, and Theodore asked if the students had gone home. He seemed quite tired, so Layla asked if he had been sleeping properly. He said it was the usual. Her uncle had always holed up in his lab and he had completely dumped the infirmary work onto her. The other day he let out a creepy laugh and creeped out both Layla and Luna. The academy didn't want to let go of him as a researcher either, so he didn't get any reprimands for this at all, because he had talent. Artificial magic stone crystals were crystals for each attribute, and they convert the user's magic power into another attribute. Originally, magic stone crystals were rare and this property was already present, but once Theodore created them artificially, they spread rapidly. It shook the entire magic world. She respected him, but he was way too negligent to be considered a proper superior. She would rather call herself an infirmary assistant than a medical officer's assistant. Theodore commented that she had been keeping everything well stocked. She said she even infused the compresses with magic. He was really glad he made her his assistant. There was no one else this reliable and convenient. He then said he knew a patisserie and he would bring something next time for Layla since she had been working so hard. Layla was pretty happy. Her daily life was peaceful for now. Her older brother was supposed to show up at the academy as a temporary teacher, but his sister's complex got out of hand, and Theodore put a stop to it, sending him straight back to their territory. As a result, he was no longer a romance target. Even from afar, he tries to make his presence known with gifts. The situation had changed a lot from the game, but it looked like the other romance targets were starting to gather too. The core scenario didn't seem to have changed. She wondered if in this world too, the prince and Lila would grow closer. Meanwhile, Prince Felix called Lady Lily and asked if she had gotten used to life at the academy. She said she wasn't sure because she couldn't tell what nobles were thinking. She then panicked and said Prince Felix was different. He could notice that she was feeling a bit stifled, so he said she could say the word if there was anything he could do. His father told him many times to support her. Lily said he was so kind and mentioned that she had been wanting to go into town for the first time in a while and asked if it was not okay. Prince said it was dangerous out there, so he didn't really recommend it. Lily mentioned that he said he would protect her and she believed him. Prince Felix smiled at her kindly, but inside he was so sick of being misunderstood. This wasn't just him being considerate. He thought he had made it clear it was the royal family's decision. In this country, the only one with an aptitude for light magic was Lily Julm. Even if something like artificial magic stone crystals had been intended, only those with natural talent could become high-level healing mages. There was even a faction that wanted to bring her into the royal bloodline, so his father asked him to do his best to keep her in a good mood. He dozed off a bit, so Lily asked what was wrong. He said he was a little tired from work. She felt sorry that he had to work and said she could listen to him even though she may not be able to do much. She hoped she could help take his mind off things, even a little. Prince Felix kept smiling, but he was wondering what he could possibly say to someone he had just met. But if he didn't pretend to open his heart, he couldn't win her over. He said her words were already enough. This topic made him remember Layla. Even though they had only just met her too, he was comfortable enough to tell her everything. She had this unique aura, like she had reached enlightenment. He really wanted to see her again. In the next scene, Prince and Harold went to the infirmary. Layla, puzzled, asked if something was wrong. Prince asked if she was using a breaker for coffee. She said she neutralized it with chemicals, so there was no issue. And even if something did happen, they had plenty of medicine here. Layla noticed that Prince Felix was tired, so she said she would brew some tea with fatigue-relieving effects. After she made it, she took a sip first, just in case, so there was nothing weird in it. Prince Felix said she didn't have to be that paranoid because he brought it in himself. He asked if she had heard that he had officially started spending more time with Lady Lily recently. She said she heard they usually move around like a group of 5. Since the circumstances came to light, many have come to understand, but some girls seem to resent Lady Lily, which has made her a little concerned. She asked if she should list the names of the students she was worried about later. That was an impressive information network, but it was just people coming here to chat. Prince Felix continued, saying that Lady Lily, the 3 of them, went into town together yesterday. Layla wondered if it could be that weekend outing event. The 2 accompanying characters changed depending on the choices, but it ended up being the Crown Prince and the Knight pair. While they were out, the heroine was attacked by a thug and kidnapped. That becomes the turning point where the 2 realized they wanted to protect her. While asking if something had happened, she wondered if any progress had happened in real life too. Prince said too many things happened. Even though they said it was dangerous to be alone, she wandered off this way, and then she ended up getting kidnapped, but the Prince and Harold managed to rescue her somehow. Even after that, she kept drawing attention like nothing happened. On the way back, she even smiled and said it was fun and she wanted to go again. Somehow, even seeing her face today was exhausting. Layla was confused because that was supposed to be the scene where the hero's smile made their heart skip a beat. She said she probably wasn't used to having escorts around and she didn't mean any harm. Prince said that was the reason why he couldn't even get mad at her. Sure, a kidnapping would be a huge deal in real life, but the story wouldn't move forward unless she took action. Prince said he was just making polite conversation, asking if there was anything she wanted, and he never thought it would turn into something that serious. Layla wondered why both of them were so cold about it. Prince Felix was supposed to be healed by Lily's pure and unclouded innocence. Lord Harold was supposed to feel happy that Lily wasn't afraid of his stern face and got closer to her. But Harold was saying that he understood now that there was a fine line between innocence and being utterly inconsiderate. In the game, Lily was beloved by the world, but in reality it might be different. It felt like she had peeked into the store's back room. She said she didn't know the full story, so she didn't have anything to say, but they had really been through a lot. Harold was surprised that he was actually being considerate toward them. Just hearing that from her somehow felt like a real comfort to them. And somehow, for some reason, the affection level goes up. She wanted to change the topic, so she brought some desserts. She said the medical officer bought those for them and there just happened to be 3. She told them to pick whichever they liked. Someone slammed open the door and it was Lily. She seemed so happy to find them. Prince Felix said he had a few things to take care of. Lily said she was hoping to get some help with her studies. Harold told her that the prince was busy with official duties and it would be best to ask someone else. Lily turned to Layla, completely ignoring what Harold said, and asked if she was meeting her for the first time. They introduced themselves. Layla acted like she had heard about her and called her Lady Julm. Lily said she knew Layla knew who she was and there was no need to be so formal. Layla then offered her the cakes. She actually had such cute manners. But just as she was thinking like that, Lily turned to Harold and Prince and suggested giving the rest to them because there were exactly 3 pieces. She acted like Layla wasn't the one who was sharing her desserts. Both Prince and Harold were shocked. The mood suddenly got heavy, so Layla told them to join them and mentioned that her brother had sent some sweets too. Prince asked if she was sure. She said she got gifts constantly, so they didn't need to worry. She didn't really mind, but it would feel rude to refuse, so she decided to eat together. When she opened the box to find the desserts, she saw a letter. She wondered what that was about but had to bring the sweets. Lily ate with a great appetite. Layla also loved the pudding. But it was expected of her brother because he checked out every shop, even small-town ones. Harold tried one of the cakes and he seemed to love it. While Layla was eating her pudding, Lily went beyond being disrespectful and asked for the pudding in Layla's hand. Prince Felix had had enough of her and told her that this was getting rude. He said that she had already enjoyed the cake, and while Layla may be letting it slide, she was the daughter of an earl, and she must not act so disrespectfully towards her. Lily panicked and apologized immediately, saying she didn't think she did anything that bad. However, that response did nothing for the prince. He told her that they were the ones who said not to be stiff, so it was fine, but with others she had to be mindful of boundaries. As they were leaving, Layla suddenly saw Prince Felix as the mom of the group, and the one beside him was the dad. It seemed like things were not going according to the scenario. Their relationship was developing differently from the game. Luna felt sorry that Layla couldn't eat the cake, but she said it was fine. She then remembered the letter she brought. The letter said only one thing: "I'm coming to get you." It was so creepy that Layla was startled. Luna reminded her that she always told her to get away from that brother, or she would suffer. Layla wondered what this even meant, or if he was coming today. She wondered if her uncle knew anything. He would need permission to enter the academy, so she knocked on his door and opened it. But what she saw in front of her was not her uncle. Malvin, staring right into her soul, said he had come to get her. Malvin immediately started kissing Layla and said scared Layla was so cute. She told him that this was just creepy and asked what he was doing here. He responded that when she was scared she tried so hard not to tear up that she scrunched her brows a little, and that was so cute. That expression belonged only to him, apparently. He said he wouldn't allow anyone else to scare her. He then asked what her relationship with those men. Layla said there was a girl with them too, and nothing was going on for him to be worried about. He hugged her again and said her cuteness wasn't something glasses could hide, and they might fall for her. She tried to push him, but he was too strong. Suddenly chains started capturing Melvin, and Theodore appeared. He told him that he was getting out of hand. He apologized to Layla for not being there because he was taking a nap. Melvin thought he was too close to Layla and said he wouldn't forgive this. Theodore decided to be clear with him and stated that Layla was clearly intimidated because his love was way too heavy and obsessive. Melvin acted like this actually hurt him and said he would fall ill because of Layla. He started saying how much he loved her, and now he was worse than before. Theodore regretted saying anything. Layla told Melvin that it was already evening, but since he came all the way here they could go on a date around town, just the two of them, as siblings. She said that when she first came to this city she immediately thought about exploring it with him. Melvin's whole mood changed, and he said he was going to escort her. But he was thinking about how perfect they would be as a couple. Layla guided him outside, thinking how easy it was to manipulate him. Theodore trusted Layla's spirit, so he didn't interfere with them. Luna hated Melvin though. She said she was going to watch over her master and protect her. Layla suddenly wondered why she was always only showing the tip of her nose. She said that if anyone could see her it could be a problem, so she tried to stay hidden. She also makes sure to speak only when no dark attribute beings are nearby. Her brother had an earth attribute, so he couldn't see her, but just to be safe she was still hiding. Something about this felt a bit strange, but Melvin distracted her. Melvin didn't knock or anything and opened her door to see if she had changed. She said she might still be changing, but he said he knew exactly when she was done changing because he was imagining her dressing up. Luna was sure he was the most dangerous among men. He also wanted to take out her glasses because she had to look at her absolute best. She decided to bring her glasses with her just in case. They walked around the royal capital together and people were looking at them because of Melvin. He looked amazing and it was normal for him to attract attention. He said he worked hard to get his work done just for this day. Layla asked if he was allowed to leave his territory like this, but since he didn't answer, she immediately figured out that he snuck out. He said that this was a very meaningful and necessary trip for him. Without his faithful dose of Layla, he couldn't live. Layla mentioned the shop he wanted to take her to. He said there was a shop that was really popular among women lately that sells personalized accessories where she could have her name engraved. Layla realized that this was like the matching rings in the game. Malvin was sure she was interested, but she said she needed a new feather pen. Wearing matching rings with her brother was a bit much, so she said her uncle asked her to write the infirmary newsletter and he deals with a lot of paperwork. With a pen, she would feel closer to him all the time. She also suggested getting matching diaries and writing down today's memories. Melvin seemed interested enough. They went to the shop. Inside was really cute inside. She liked a diary and said even he could use something like this easily. Melvin said it felt a bit forbidden because it had a mirror, and it held all of Layla's little things. She said she would leave the feather pen to his stylish taste. She went to pick a good one while Layla walked around in the shop. She suddenly noticed cute macarons and decided to leave some in the infirmary someday. The girl student would definitely love them, but it might be too cute for Prince Felix. But Lord Harold would surely light up with joy again. Layla realized that they had become part of her daily life, and it was a little ticklish feeling. She had some tea, so it wasn't weird if she stayed a little longer. When she reached to grab some macarons, someone else was reaching to get them, and their hands touched each other. The person apologized, and when Layla looked at who it was Prince Felix. Shocked, they stared at each other for a while. Layla was frozen because she wasn't wearing her glasses. She immediately ran off. She was so panicked because he saw her face. Prince Felix ran to catch her and he managed to grab her wrist. He asked why she was running away and he was so happy that he finally found her. She said she wasn't running away, but the moment she spoke, Prince Felix recognized that she was Layla. Prince Felix recognized her because he liked her voice. Shocked, Layla told him to let go of her. He asked her not to run away. Layla was scared because she didn't know how to look him in the face after doing something that trampled on Prince Felix's feelings like that. And on top of that, this wasn't even following the script. She had no idea what kind of development was waiting for her, and if nothing changed around the heroine, she would end up like in the game. Prince Felix lifted her head and told her to look at him. But Layla was so nervous and started apologizing to him. He asked why she was apologizing because he was happy to know she was the moon goddess. She was shocked because he was still smiling at her even though she was deceiving him. Every time she felt his affection, her past self started to resurface, so she asked him not to look at her. But he continued talking, saying he finally got to learn it was her. But the more he spoke, the more she recalled her past life and she told him to stop. Prince Felix asked if she loved someone else. She said yes, and on top of that she said she really loved her elder brother. She claimed that she was a hopeless brother complex girl and she wasn't fit to be with him. But Prince Felix said there was no one now. She tried to say she had her brother, but he shushed her. He said that even though her lips said that there was no passion in her eyes, and to her, her brother was her family. He was close but not someone she longed for with love. He said that there was no problem. His eyes seemed to see through everything. His eyes were gentle and noble, yet just like a beast aiming at its prey. He was serious about this. Even though he saw how scared she was, he still wanted her. But remembering her past life, she started running away again, saying she could not do this. This time, Prince Felix grabbed her and hugged her from behind. He asked her to just listen to him. He said that he was truly happy that she was that goddess because she was the one who stole his eyes and made a home in his heart. He said she might not understand what he was saying, and even if she didn't return his feelings right now, he was going to love her. Layla didn't want to die, that was part of it. But more than that, she had a past trauma. Prince Felix apologized for being selfish. Even though he knew she was afraid of him, he still wanted to tell her how he felt. Luna noticed that Layla's heart was fascinating. More mature than anyone, yet more immature than anyone. Prince told her that he didn't intend to force her, but he didn't want to give up. Luna told Layla that if she wasn't ready to accept that she was her loyal servant, she might break, but it seemed that she still needed some time. Luna helped Layla and told her to rest well as she closed her eyes and let herself go. When she woke up, she was at Theodore's laboratory. She put on her glasses and wondered if this was a dream. She could hear her uncle's and someone else's voice. The door opened and Prince Felix appeared. He was surprised to see her awake and asked if it was okay for her to be up. He apologized for being rude. He said he didn't know what happened 3 days ago, but he heard she collapse, and he was worried. Layla had so many questions. Theodore explained that she was unconscious for 3 days. Prince Felix said he was glad she was safe. Layla still had so many questions. In the next scene, Prince Felix brought flowers for her recovery, and he had something in his hand that he was planning to give her. It was an apology cake from the other day. She thanked him. She was still unsure if it was a dream or not because the wrapping paper was from the shop where she met the prince. While she was staring at the paper, Prince Felix touched her forehead. He said she didn't have a fever, but she still seemed a little out of it. He said he would head home now and told her to take her time and rest. When he left, Layla started freaking out about what had happened. She was sure Prince Felix was at that place, and the wound from that time was still there. Luna came and wanted to explain everything. She told her that there was nothing wrong with her memory. The one she tampered with was the crown prince's memory. She erased a portion of it. That was a serious crime, but Luna stated that she only erased 5 minutes of memory. She checked what was lost, and it was the memory of choosing the gift and that one crucial memory. It was a selfish decision, but she thought it was better than her mind breaking from the strain. Interfering with someone's memory required an immense amount of magic power, and a spirit's magic depended on its contractor, so that's why she collapsed. Just for 5 minutes she was unconscious for 3 whole days. She did have a mite more magical power than most, but still, she never knew magic like this even existed. Luna apologized for acting on her own, but trauma was something she must face eventually, and this was only a way to buy time. The only reason her contracted spirit was able to take such a drastic step was that her feelings were so strong. Back then she could recall wishing she could be able to erase it all and pretend it never happened. And when she saw the prince who had forgotten everything, she felt relieved. She started tearing up, thinking how he went to that shop alone without a guard just for her. She felt like the worst person on earth because she was playing with others' feelings. Luna responded that the prince probably thought he got a little foggy-headed, and she didn't need to beat herself up over it too much. Humans were complicated to Luna though. She said that the prince came to visit her a few times, and her brother chased him off when he came. Personally, she thought they should do something about her brother. She asked what happened after she lost consciousness. She said he was sent back to the territory so she could rest easily. After Luna put her to sleep, she temporarily possessed her body. She just put on her glasses right after. She handled things reasonably and returned to the infirmary. Her uncle sensed the magical shift and understood right away. But that brother of hers hugged her and told her not to wander off from the shop like that. Luna looked at him so coldly that he was scared for a moment. His fear disappeared immediately and he found her charming. Meanwhile, Prince Felix was glad that Lady Layla was alright. These past 3 days it felt like he had lost a part of himself. But this wasn't just an ordinary concern. It was like he found something precious and locked it in his heart, and now even the trace of it was completely gone. He wondered what he had lost. He didn't know, and yet her face kept popping into his head for no reason. Even though he had already got someone, he fell in love with someone at first sight. He felt like a shallow man. Layla returned to work after just 1 day off, and she was very dedicated. Working helped her though. Besides, her uncle skipped out on greeting visitors again, so she couldn't sit around and rest. And today she heard the 5 of them were having a lunch meeting. It looked like they were getting along after all. In the game, the character who sits next to you during the lunch meeting was how you could tell whose route you were on. If the same logic applies now, then the one with the highest favorability was Prince Felix. Her past life was the past, and this was now. She understood that in her head, but still the path she had walked was deeply etched in her. Even now, if he falls in love with someone more pure and sincere than her, someone who returned his feelings with all her heart, then surely that would be his happiness. While she was thinking about that, someone approached her and asked if she was the new girl in the infirmary. He was Noel Frey, son of a viscount. He was another target in the game. He had red eyes. Those with the eyes of demons bring disaster, a distorted belief from history. Those with red eyes were feared because of their high magical power. Noel, who was born with a natural talent for magic, was persecuted due to his eye color and grew up being shunned, which caused him to close off his heart. Now that she saw them up close, they really were a beautiful color, but she was so amazed that she said that out loud and surprised Noel. But her uncle also had high magic power, and his eyes were violet, so she wondered why only red eyes were feared. She asked if the eyes themselves hold magic power, or if it could be a magic eye. Noel was shocked that she was analyzing his eyes rather than being afraid of them. She said she was nothing like her uncle and apologized for spacing out. Noel heard that she was unconscious for 3 days. He grabbed the medicine she was looking at earlier and said it was high quality. He asked if she had made it, and she confirmed to him. She said she was checking the magic particles under natural light. Noel used to think no one could make better medicine than him, but he could compromise with this now. Layla felt so happy that he approved of her. She said that if he was looking for something even higher in quality, the infirmary's potions might be good for him. He said this was fine because he didn't want to interfere with her research, and this was more than enough. He suddenly started yelling at her, saying it wasn't an insult and she wasn't as good as him. He then said he wasn't trying to comfort her either, or he was just starting a fact. Layla couldn't help but giggle. She said she knew he wasn't the kind of person who badmouthed others, and he was very kind. Noel's face turned red, and he told her to quit teasing him like that. Prince Felix approached them and commented that they were getting along. He saw them talking, looked like they were having a good time. Lily also came, and she was upset that Noel had disappeared. She said they became companions through fate, and she wanted to spend more time together. Noel told her that he never agreed to anything like that. Lily stopped for a moment and said she understood him. When the time came, she knew he would protect them, and that's why she wanted to get to know him better. As expected of her, she was not giving up. In the game, it was this innocence that gradually healed Noel's heart. Noel told her that it was an order, and that was the only reason. He also told her not to bother him otherwise. Lily seemed hurt and told him not to say it like that. Prince Felix seemed sick of Noel. Lily started sobbing and said all she wanted was to have a normal conversation with Noel too. Layla told her that Noel just happened to like the medicine she made and it was just a business discussion. Layla thought she did something good for saying it like that, but now Lily was giving her advice about how friendship was not something she could buy. Prince Felix told her to choose her words more carefully. When they left there, Noelle started laughing because her face clearly said she didn't want to get dragged into this. She apologized for acting on her own. He said it was fine and he would buy it at her price. Like he said earlier, the quality was good enough and he didn't know anyone else who could make it like this. He had his own quota of potions to prepare, but he had been busy with classes, so he had been struggling. She said that would help her too because she could buy high-quality ingredients instead of gathering them. Layla said she had to make a large batch for the upcoming practical training, so they should work on it together. He asked if it was the one where you fight training beasts, and she confirmed it. It was the first battle for training for first years. The next day she went to the infirmary early in the morning and saw that the door was unlocked. She opened and saw Theodore there. She was shocked because her introvert uncle was awake and working in the morning. Layla didn't believe that it was her uncle. He told her that it was time for the first-year students' very first practical training, and mock battles were starting. The first years usually suffer a lot of injuries, and it wasn't something they could just brush off. For them in the infirmary and for the teachers, it was a tough period. For the remaining 3 days, they just keep making medicine and packing it up and keep setting up beds in every available room in the academy. She asked if only first years were getting injured. Theodore started yelling at her for being too soft. He said that it wasn't just the first years there were battle maniacs so excited for real combat after so long and they would throw themselves in completely. Their reason for existing was just to make medicine over and over again. She knew about the mock battle even from the game, but she had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. He gave her an assignment sheet. She had already learned the basics of potion making, so for now he asked her to handle the commonly used healing potions. He would take care of making the more troublesome antidotes for status ailments. Luna was at the corner, cheering for both of them. While working so fast, Layla realized that her uncle had been doing this by himself until now. Someone came, and Layla didn't know what to do. Luna said she would take care of this lost visitor. She tuned into a beautiful man and shocked everyone. Layla freaked out, but she told her to get back to work and she would handle the customers. She went to see the customer and said Layla had cut her hand and she was going to treat him. He said a bandage would do and apologized for bothering him. Luna kept being rude to the customers and Layla wasn't sure if this would be okay. When the next customer came, they asked who Luna was because they didn't recognize his face. Layla immediately recognized their voices. It was Prince Felix and Lord Harold. Layla immediately went out because he was acting that way toward royalty. He shushed him and asked Prince Felix and Harold to wait a moment. She asked Luna if he was going to drive them away, and he said he was. Titles were a hassle for Luna. She sneaked inside to see Prince Felix and saw him frowning. The previous student was kind enough to let it go, but this was her responsibility as his master. She told him to speak politely to everyone no matter if they were students or not, and she told him to smile. Luna noticed that Layla was actually pretty cute too. Prince Felix couldn't stand there and went to the other side to see them. Layla apologized for the wait, but he seemed genuinely upset. Prince Felix grabbed her wrist and told her to come here for a moment, and he turned to Luna saying he was borrowing her for a bit. Confused, Layla asked if she had done something to upset him. He said he wasn't mad, but Layla was almost sure he was. He turned to her and asked who that guy was and what her relationship with him was. She asked if he meant Luna. He said they seemed really close. Layla was confused because since Luna erased his memories, he shouldn't feel anything for her. Yet it felt like he was jealous. He said that he was a servant at her house. Prince Felix was still confused because they were really close. She said it was normal, but he said she was being a little too careless. She was a noble lady and getting close to a man could cause a serious misunderstanding. She said she only let her guard down because it was Luna. She had received a noble lady's education, and she knew she was supposed to keep a certain distance from men. Prince Felix seemed offended and asked if she meant he was special. His tone got even sharper than before. They heard Lily's voice asking for Prince Felix. She always shows up at the worst possible moment, but this time she might actually save her. Just before she saw them, Prince Felix grabbed Layla's wrist and dragged her inside the closet. Inside the closet, he apologized for hiding. Layla was so panicked because she noticed that her glasses weren't with her. If he saw her real face again, it was going to be bad. Prince Felix noticed that she was shaking and asked if she was okay. Before she could respond properly, Prince Felix kissed her. Layla froze there. Even though it was dark and she couldn't see his expression, she could feel his intense gaze locking onto her. She should run, but her body didn't move. They were about to kiss again but heard Lady Lily talking. When she left, Prince apologized to her. She said it was okay, and they were both at fault. Come to think of it, in Prince Felix's route, there was a surprise kiss event. Normally another love interest would witness that, and the kiss would of course be with the heroine. Prince continued approaching her face again, and even he seemed shaken. She panicked and opened the closet, saying they should both forget it ever happened. She then ran away and left Prince there. Prince Felix was still shaken from his first kiss. He felt both joy because he was with Lady Layla and a growing ugly jealousy toward Luna. He wondered if that mess of emotion was what they called love. He then noticed that her glasses were on the ground and there was a trace of magic on them. He thought she might use it for work. He wondered if she really wanted to pretend it never happened. When he went back, he saw Luna and asked where Layla was. Luna said she was in the back mixing potions. It was a war zone here until the mock exam. He decided not to disturb her and asked Luna if he could give her glasses. He looked at the glasses. Prince Felix was watching Luna. Luna suddenly told him that Layla had a complicated past. She stood tall and proud, stronger than anyone, but she was actually more fragile and scared than most. That girl didn't understand how to accept kindness. Prince Felix already felt like it was deeper than the kiss. Luna told him that, whether she realized it or not, she had a stubborn heart that wouldn't easily open up, yet she tried hard to reach out to others. He agreed with him. He knew she never pushed anyone away, but it always felt like she was keeping a distance. He asked if that distance was caused by fear. Luna responded that it would be nice if she found someone she could open her heart to besides family. Prince Felix was surprised that Luna smiled. He said that Layla was clumsy but skilled at the same time. Luna had high hopes for Prince Felix since he wasn't fooled by her surface. He told him to start by learning about her trust if he wanted to win her heart, and if he shows too much of his male side she might run away. He then apologized for slipping up because he was new to this country. Prince Felix had never had his emotions tossed around like this before in his life. In the next scene, it was the mock battle day. Layla saw the artificial magical beast they were using. Even if it was just for training, it was still intense. It was a dummy equipped with a safety device that automatically stops if the trainee collapses or runs out of mana. This lesson was to cast protective magic and face it head-on. Incidentally, this beast was also one of Uncle's inventions. Apparently, even in the middle of that chaos, he was preparing this on the side too. But Layla was still thinking about that kiss. She repeated to herself that it was just an accident. Luna said it was rare for her uncle to handle guests himself. She usually stayed holed up in the infirmary anyway, and that greatsword was just in case. Someone appeared and asked for Layla. He said his brother was right. She was working at that age. He was Yuri, but she assumed Layla knew that already. He was the younger brother of Prince Felix and the fourth capture target, Yuri Orcott. He was supposed to enroll next year, but it seemed he had already been staying here as Lady Lily's guard under the Academy's supervision. She wondered why he was in a place like this. He said he hasn't officially enrolled yet, but he could still sneak in just about anywhere. Judging from Layla's bone structure and part placement, he found her beautiful and said her glasses were such a waste. Yuri's specialty was gathering intel using his friendly nature. He was an informant with all kinds of unique connections. But knowing him, his real goal today was to find the best spot to watch his brother shine on the battlefield. He may not have looked like it, but he had gotten a serious big brother complex. Also, he wanted to make sure there weren't any suspicious people around too. She asked if he had noticed anything suspicious. He said there was nothing. They had eliminated every possible blind spot. Layla said even if someone tried to sneak in using large-scale magic, the mana detection would sound the alarm. As the prince said, as long as it was physically secure, there shouldn't be any problems. Now they could focus fully on the battle. He told her to do her best there, but she was confused because she was supposed to be her as a medical staff. At that moment she heard Lily's voice, screaming why she had to fight too. She said she was scared, and she didn't want to train to hurt others. Lily's first protests were like this because she hated conflict, but she overcame her fear and grew closer to the capture targets. It might be common for those with light-type mana to dislike fighting. She said there must be many who didn't know how to fight or who were simply afraid, and she believes in putting people in the right roles. Some people didn't want to fight, but if an adult told them to do it, they had no choice but to obey. It was true that some students must be feeling afraid, but some may have come here after making up their minds to face it. Layla thought that the message might convince them if it came from someone their own age, so she asked them to speak for a moment. Layla thought Layla wanted them to fight too, even those who couldn't fight. Layla explained that as long as she was involved in magic, she couldn't avoid combat because this battle training is a required class. What she said earlier about putting people on the right roles was true, but in real combat she must fight. Layla was still objecting to this idea, thinking it was wrong. She said that there are other ways besides fighting. Layla thought for a moment. She then explained to her that those who master magic became valuable assets and that increases the chances they would be targeted by those who wanted to use them, and she must understand this well as someone with rare light mana. It was not just about the monsters, they were learning how to stand against all kinds of threats. What she said seemed to work on her, and she said that she would cause more trouble if she did anything unnecessary since a lot of people were protecting her. That's why she had decided to trust everyone. Layla realized that talking more might be pointless at this point, because she knew that when people become stubborn, they shut themselves off from anything new. However, she still told her not to say things in front of the others because it disrupts the flow of the class. Layla didn't like conflict either, but if she died, none of it mattered anymore. Layla had a natural charisma that made people want to listen to her. If that way of thinking spread, it could endanger life. Layla persuaded her in the game too, telling her to stop spreading naive ignorance around. Layla started to cry because of her words, because she believed that all she did was speak her mind. Layla could remember this scene from the game too. People who saw Lady Lily crying wondered what Layla said to her. Layla could feel that this was definitely villainous territory. The principal suggested that Lady Layla go first in the mock battle. Layla stuttered for a moment, so he explained that they had already planned for the possibility that the first years would be too scary to fight. In those cases, one of the teachers steps up and demonstrates by taking the lead. They usually draw lots each year to decide, but this year they were thinking of asking her since she was the same age as the first year. She already qualified for graduation, and she had completed all the practical training. After watching what had just happened, the principal was confident that she was the right choice. Layla remembered the time Theodore gave her the sword and Yuri wished her good luck, concluding that her uncle pushed this on her because he didn't want to fight. The principal told Layla that Lady Leia would be giving a demonstration and asked if that would work for her. Layla immediately agreed, but Layla was still in shock. Even in the correspondence program there were in-person sessions, so she had trained against artificial beasts before. However, she made a fool of herself every time, and she had never done it in front of such a big crowd. She told the principal that she would be a good reference for the students, but the principal responded that her method didn't matter as long as she defeated the monster because they aimed to break this awkward mood. Layla had no choice but to do it. With that, the mock battle started. Layla faced the artificial beast in front of Prince Felix and Lily. Harold was also there, and he commented that he never imagined Layla would be the one doing the demo. Yuri approached Harold and mentioned that this might be part of the plan. Layla named this operation Value Your Life. Her way of fighting was about survival. She prepared herself and her abilities so that she could move freely through the air. She originally learned this magic so she could get her materials anywhere she wanted, but she was using it to jump across a lake with ease, not to fight against a beast. She didn't use this ability because it drains mana fast, and she couldn't believe she was using it here in all places. With that, the principal started the fight. The moment the fight started, the chains of the monster broke and it looked a lot stronger than the one in Layla's practical exam. The monster rushed her for an attack and she dodged at the last second. At that moment she realized that none of the teachers had cast a protection spell on her. She was on her own. If it were a protection barrier, she would have to cast it herself, but the monster didn't wait for her to do that. The monster slammed its head on the floor so fast that she almost got hit. Layla promised to strangle her uncle when she got home. Lady Layla, who was called the Silver Goddess, was a noble lady who seemed to have nothing to do with combat but was now fighting magical beasts. She was wielding a huge sword and jumping around with those thin arms, shocking everyone in the place. Harold figured that she was using body enhancement magic. She looked like she could barely drag the sword before the battle started. But the monster was still so strong, getting hit by that must really hurt. Harold explained that if they had protective magic they would only get a scratch, and that's why more people should do combat training. But most of them got emotionally scarred just from fear. But she wasn't even using protective magic. Harold realized that and was shocked that she was using her bare body to fight. Even if the magical beast was artificial, its presence alone made most people freeze. Without protection, any amateur would panic or give up. But her elegant movements seemed to say, as long as I don't get hit, there was no problem. She was using the shockwave to her advantage. She managed to kick the monster in the eye. Amazed, Harold wanted to spar with her. Yuri agreed that she was incredible, but she wasn't landing a solid hit. It looked like she was just dodging the whole time. He thought he got what she was trying to do. Wearing the magic beast down through a war of attrition, blinding it to take away its vision, making it lash out wildly and steadily draining its strength was her plan. Once its movements slowed down, she used her agility and defeated the monster. She saw the core and was surprised that her uncle even reacted to that. She wanted to wrap this up. Everyone in the area started cheering for her. The teacher informed the others that what she picked up just now was the core, and they must be sure not to forget to retrieve the core after defeating a beast. Today she gave them a great example of even with basic magic enhancement, if they master it, they could be a powerful force. The other teacher asked if they knew why Layla didn't attack recklessly. Harold responded that she was small, so using a huge sword should have been a disadvantage. Because of her limited movement, any opening while attacking could have been dangerous, so she focused everything into a single strike. The teacher told them that being flexible and adapting was one of the most important things. They were not always in perfect shape. Layla was just running around to avoid making a fool of herself, but they were interpreting in such a positive way that even she was surprised. Yuri congratulated her and said she surprised him. He thought she would rely on long-range attacks because she was a girl, but she went full-on close combat. Layla couldn't tell him that her final move was kind of a desperate swing. Yuri mentioned that even Harold was impressed. Yuri told her that she was a strong woman, and even though she was the same age as everyone else, she fought bravely and lifted everyone's spirits. She insisted that it was just luck. The first year's training had started too. Everyone was using so many kinds of magic, it was impressive, but they were still having trouble finishing the beasts. Noel was also there, and he was using magic that made the beast eat its own arm. She was messing with her brain using electromagnetic waves or something. Layla said Noel had both earth and wind attributes, and he was on a whole other level. But still, no one would have thought he could control a beast without dark magic. Now it was time for Prince Felix. He also had two attributes, water and fire. Prince Felix created a water ball, and when he snapped his finger, the ball exploded and the monster was defeated. He took it down in seconds. She heard he was a master of both magic and swordsmanship, but this was on another level. With power like that, he could easily extract the core from a real beast too. And with minimal magic use, she wondered if there was anything he could even learn at this academy. Yuri said he never slacks off. He had never been arrogant or overconfident either. Seeing him smile like that, Layla felt embarrassed and turned her back. Yuri asked what was wrong, and she said a smile from someone so high above felt blinding, like she might go blind. Yuri told her that she didn't have to be so formal. He seemed to really care about her. She said that just because His Highness was kind didn't mean she could let her guard down. Yuri told her that there was a possibility for her. She didn't have any issues status-wise, and if it were her, he would totally welcome it. Shocked, she froze. Yuri said he meant if she wanted to become his brother's fiancée. Layla was so embarrassed. No matter how far she strayed from the original game's path, the world around the heroine hadn't changed. If she became his fiancée, she would become an obstacle just like in the game. Besides, she didn't think she was worthy of standing next to him. This time, it was Lily's turn. She dropped her sword, saying she didn't need something like this. Even if they were called monsters, they were originally just normal animals. The corrupted magic was what turned them into this. That was true, but that was not the whole story. In this world, there were two types of monsters: those that had existed and bred since ancient times, and those that were once ordinary animals but were infected by corrupt magic. A part of their bodies turned not into a core, a clump of magic, and they became monsters. But what they both shared was that they became beasts without reason. Lily believed that they might return to normal if purified with light. She didn't want to fight it. It was strange that a monster in an excited state was acting so calm though. Lily told the monster to show her its true form. She said that she didn't want to hurt anyone, but she also doesn't want to be protected. She wanted to be herself. A feather appeared in the sky and turned into a huge bird with white wings. It was a spirit of light. This was how the story went. At this moment, Lady Lily had formed a contract with a spirit. Luna said there was an unsettling presence, and he didn't like dealing with people in the same line of work. Yuri seemed worried and asked what was going on. If the magic was at the same time, you can sometimes see it. She wondered why she could see it. Lily asked the spirit to save the monster. The spirit said it would grant the wish of its contractor. If she vows to always carry out that kindness, then she must accept the responsibility. With that, everyone was blinded by the light of the spirit. When the spirit disappeared, the miasma disappeared. Lily purified the monster, and now it was sleeping. This was Lady Lily's power. Prince Felix immediately went to check on her while Layla stood there in shock. Apparently, someone with light magic power had formed a contract with a light spirit. That story spread through the academy in no time. Everyone looked busy outside. Theodore told Layla that they were busy too. While the academy was buzzing with talk about Lady Lily, they were rushing about tending to the lightly injured as part of their final combat training duty. After a while, the guests had finally stopped coming. Theodore seemed like he had something he wanted from Layla. She told him that she didn't care about the uncle who had caused all the trouble for her. If he wanted to know about the light spirit, he could ask someone else. She heard later that several teachers with dark magic witnessed that mythical-like scene. Luna said that if someone was skilled and had the same attribute, they could sometimes see spirits contracted by others. But she still wondered why someone with dark magic would be able to see a light spirit. Even Luna didn't seem to know the answer to that. Theodore said this was just a parent's way of wanting their child to gain life experience. It was a good lesson for a bookworm like her. But Layla knew that this wasn't his intention, he just didn't want to deal with it. And if he thought everything would go his way, he was gravely mistaken. Luna admitted that even he had doubts about this one. She decided to step outside for a bit and told Luna to give Theodore a bit of a scolding. Luna told Theodore that he wouldn't talk about the light spirit either, and that he could go ahead and stew in the frustration of not being able to know what he wanted to know. When Layla sat at the bench, she started thinking about how this was the first time she had used healing magic this much in a row. She regretted bringing a mana recovery potion. While she was thinking, Prince Felix came and asked if he could sit next to her. She panicked and told him to sit. Prince Felix then praised her work out there. Layla regretted leaving Luna behind. Prince said he was looking for her. She asked if he needed something from her. He said he just wanted to see her and asked if that was a bother. Layla said it wasn't at all. There was no way she could ever say that it was a bother. He probably knew that and said it anyway. She asked if it was alright for him to be here and not by Lady Lily's side. He seemed rather frustrated during the combat training. Prince responded that now that she had contracted with a spirit, she had become more important and she had a guard watching her in turns. A lot of people say she might feel anxious, so someone should stay by her side, but he felt like what he wanted didn't matter. Layla noticed that he was worn out. In the game, after forming a spirit contract, the love interest would surround the heroine and whisper sweet words, but in reality they were more businesslike. Prince said even Lady Lily grabbed his clothes and said don't leave her behind. That might be a bit heavy, but Prince said he didn't think he needed to be that overprotective of her. He wondered if she was thinking he was being too cold. She wasn't really in a position to give her opinion, but they weren't engaged or anything, so from an objective point of view she didn't think his judgment was wrong. He thanked her for her calm and honest opinion. People from the sidelines kept saying he wasn't being kind and he was annoyed by them. Layla told him that he had done nothing wrong. If something like that made him not kind, then the world must be full of villains. In that case he must be a terrible person too. Because she considered herself a coward and dishonest with the straightforward boy right in front of her. Just as she was thinking how she was the worst kind of woman, he told her that she was so kind and that he liked her self-deprecating side of her. He suddenly held her hand and said her hands were cold and his complexion didn't look good from treating people. He figured that she had used too much magic. Layla was anxious about his closeness and said she was thinking of drinking a recovery potion once she returned. He asked if she wanted him to share some of his magic with her. She was shocked. He said that it would be easier than forcing recovery with a potion. She understood that the prince could use the advanced technique of transferring his magic to someone else, but she thought it required deep physical contact, like kissing, to transfer it. He didn't wait for her answer and held her hand properly. Layla was shocked because it felt different from dark magic. From their joined hands she could feel the prince's magic flowing into her. After a few more seconds he asked if this much would be enough. Layla was still in shock, so she suddenly apologized for thinking he was some kind of pervert. Prince didn't expect her to say something like that and tried to smooth the situation by saying most people would think that way. Layla apologized and said she couldn't believe she said something so rude out of pure shock. He said he did startle her a bit. She said that thanks to that her body felt much lighter now. He noticed her complexion looking better and told her not to push herself too hard, even if it was work. Layla was once again amazed by his dazzling smile. He said he was surprised, but he did see her with Yuri during training. She said he called out to her. He asked if he had said anything weird because he had told him about her. Layla recalled his words but comforted him that he didn't say anything. He seemed relieved but noticed that calling him Your Highness was confusing, so he asked her to call him by his name and then he would call her by her name. But Layla said that would set a bad example for the students. She was still working here as an assistant, so she couldn't act improperly. She had also heard that Count Vivienne was soon to be granted a marquise title. As for her, he could feel free to call her however he liked. Prince told her not to put herself down and reminded her that she was the Count's daughter, and she completed her correspondence courses in etiquette, history, politics, and economics. He heard she graduated with perfect scores in all of them. As a child, Layla studied as her life depended on it, and even she was surprised by how quickly she could absorb it all. While talking, Prince Felix said it wouldn't be strange if someone wanted her to marry into royalty. Layla panicked and said she no longer attends social gatherings. Prince Felix realized that he talked too much and promised to bring her some of her favorite tea next time. While watching him walk away, Layla realized that even though she knew how he felt, she still wanted to keep things the same. Once again, she felt like the worst kind of woman. After that messy drama was over, the infirmary returned to its peaceful state, or so she thought. It actually never did. While Layla was working, the students who came there were gossiping about Lily. They then asked Layla about her opinion of Lily. She said that unresolved anger could be tough and painful to deal with. As Lady Lily gained attention across the academy and her popularity grew, it pushed the stress of jealous noble ladies to the brink of explosion. Now they come one after another, venting their rants and complaints at her. She hoped that at least it would help them blow off some steam. Honestly, she had no idea how to respond to any of it. Luna, in human form, asked if she would like a cookie. After that, Luna still sometimes helped out in her human form. At this point, she was basically like a servant, but she believed she was enjoying it. Lord Harold came, and she was surprised that he was alone. He suddenly held her hands and asked her to be his fiancée. Layla was shocked. He said that after seeing that battle the other day, he became convinced that she was a battle maiden in the making, a strong woman worthy to stand at his side. He also said she could start her training any time, and they should begin now. Layla asked if he meant the engagement or the training. Suddenly, Yuri entered the infirmary and yelled at Harold that he told him to wait. He asked if his brother had seen any of that. Luna said he wasn't around today. Yuri asked Layla to keep this a secret from his brother and dragged Harold out of there. Harold said he was going to wait for her answer. That was an unromantic proposal. Lord Harold's performance in combat training was nearly the lowest, rank E, because he didn't use any magic during the exercise. Before she could continue her work, another person showed up and wanted her to accompany him on a gathering mission. And with that, Layla found herself in an outdoor mission. Apparently, they needed someone who could use healing magic to tag along. Having her as the infirmary assistant this year has been a real help because Theodore always refused to go. Layla said she was glad she could help. Even if she gave up being seen as just a fellow student, she couldn't avoid this. This was freshman year's first-time series, Part 2, a classic gathering mission that appears in the game's story. If it goes like the scenario, she would be the first unlucky one attacked today. During a break, a group of beasts appears, and the heroine and heroes fight them off. That was the classic plotline. But Layla, as always, gets attacked and knocked out in the middle of lecturing the heroine about noble conduct. This game was unusually harsh on Layla. She wondered if she was just naturally the type to always draw the short straw. Luna noticed that Layla was sighing a lot. He said he would let her pet his fur when they got back. Among the 20 or so students, the usual 5 were here. Even though Prince Yuri wasn't technically a student yet, he had been allowed to join the outdoor class thanks to his combat and trap handling skills as a bodyguard. Realistically speaking, it was a pretty unusual situation. She wondered if this was just plot armor at work. She would really rather not get attacked by the monsters. She decided to stay away from Lady Lily. She was going to be a shadow. She was going to stay quiet, stay in the back, and just follow along. But the girls were looking forward to working with her. They were so glad they were in Group 1 because they got to be with Lily, and they were excited that they might see her fight again. Layla was quite uncomfortable with this situation, and she also noticed Lady Lily staring at her. She just prayed that she would get back home safe. While the group was being informed, Layla was collecting some herbs. Luna asked if that wasn't considered an abuse of authority. She knew that, but the small pouch was amazing. When she puts things in, it miniaturizes them through a special mechanism. Her uncle used spatial magic to expand it. Unless someone got injured, she didn't have any work to do. And the herbs they were running out of were right in front of her in abundance. If she collected them, they were free. There was no reason not to take them. When she saw a rare larva, she got so excited, and Lord Noel noticed that she was gathering bugs too. He said that if he was fine with bugs, she could help with the dissection, and she looked like she would be good at it. Lord Howard said if she had time for that, she would be sparring with him first. Lord Noel was confused because he seriously doubted that Lady Layla would be interested in something like that. This was totally that kind of scene where she goes and says not to fight over her, but she wasn't even a little bit excited. Layla told Lord Noel that with something this big they could make a dozen doses of medicine from just one. She asked him to take it if he would like one. But this was something she was collecting, so he wasn't sure. She said she would be glad if he could show her the results after he finished. Prince Felix saw them and asked what she was talking about with Noel. She looked unusually happy, and he noticed that Layla said he helped her catch a rare larva, and then he invited her to dissect some bugs. Prince said they were compatible, but she was still a lady, and being alone with another man wasn't good. Layla was confused because they were just talking about dissecting bugs. He apologized and said it wasn't his place to restrict her, but that she was still a noble lady too. He was right, but she thought living her life as a researcher wouldn't be so bad, and it was a good study for her. Prince was surprised and asked if she wasn't planning to get married. She said no, not unless she was forced to. She had a proper education as a noble lady, so she was prepared for a political marriage if needed, but she was sure her brother would never allow it. Prince Felix seemed quite sad about her opinion on marriage. At that moment, Layla wondered how much of Luna's memory-erasing magic actually worked. He should recognize her and the moon goddess as two separate people, but deep in his subconscious, fragments of memory may still remain, confusing him. Sometimes she got that feeling. Lady Lil suddenly called out for Prince Felix. Prince asked what was wrong. Lily suddenly noticed Layla, and then she hid behind Prince Felix. Layla was shocked that she was scared of her. She wondered if it was because she spoke so bluntly at that time. This situation felt just like the situation of Layla from the game, but she didn't think she said anything wrong. Layla decided to fix this and apologize for being terribly rude before. Layla said she didn't need to apologize because anyone could end up speaking harshly without meaning to. She thanked her. Layla wanted to continue collecting herbs now, but when she turned her back to them, Prince Felix stopped her because the reaction wasn't normal around here. They said that there was a pack of demon wolves nearby. They had sensed their presence and they would now begin securing an evacuation route and guiding everyone to safety. Layla realized that the fate of being attacked couldn't be avoided after all. Prince Felix was nervous and questioned if it was a whole pack because of their presence. Suddenly, Lady Lily hugged him. Prince Felix told her to calm down and stand on her own. If she clung to him, she couldn't move at all. Layla told Lily that it was all right and that she was there too. Yuri told Felix that the evacuation preparations were completed. Prince had cast concealment magic on the demon wolves from a distance, and that would buy them some time. Luna said thanks to the Crown Prince's magic, it looked like the wolves' sense of smell had been dulled for now. One of them seemed to have had a fatal wound and lost his mind. They were better off not getting involved. Luna was right, trying to deal with them while evacuating this many people would be reckless. Prince Felix told Lily to keep her eyes forward and that they were going to run for now. Lila told the prince that one of the beasts appeared to be fatally wounded, which puts the nearby town in danger. A dying beast may descend on human settlements in a desperate attempt to recover even a little strength. In other words, predation. Lily's whole attitude changed, and she said they had to beat the beast. They told her that it was too dangerous, and that they were getting out of there. In the original game scenario, Lily summoned the spirit of light and resolved it somehow. Lily didn't understand why they should run when there was something they could do. They couldn't just ignore it when people might get attacked. Felix reminded her that she just formed a contract with the spirit and she didn't have enough control yet. Rather than relying on something uncertain, they should regroup. He had sent a report via communication magic to the nearby night garrison, and they should be heading here to assist them and protect the town shortly. Lily refused to listen to him and said she could hold it back like last time, but Prince Felix had enough of her and told her that this was an order. Lily had no choice but to follow his orders. They continued their way back to the school, but Luna felt something was wrong. There was a sudden spike in reactions. Prince Felix said it was like there was some kind of magic circle summoning those beasts. Yuri said this was weird. Some of them were circling around and closing the distance, and their numbers just kept growing. Layla was worried that they might try to trap them. They decided that it was too dangerous to keep moving forward like this, and they should switch to holding their ground until reinforcements arrive. They apologized to Layla for that, but they had to ask for her help. She said she could support them. When she was far enough from them, she asked Luna to be her legs. She got on Luna, and they started going to see what was going on. Luna said if they use normal magic, it might just rile them up. If she was going to draw them in, she should use the least stimulating method she could. She thought about sound magic. There was a song, an alluring one. She liked music, so she found it fascinating and memorized it all back then. It was an ancient non-elemental magic. All it required was a small amount of mana. As long as the sound and rhythm were right, anyone could activate it without training. Luna said that it was a very human kind of magic, and it was a good choice. Luna told her to sing to her heart's content and promised to crush them all, no matter how many came. She stopped when they noticed them. Layla had a dependable spirit by her side. She couldn't keep being afraid. Even if it was just halfway. She was dedicated to luring the demon wolves in. She started singing the song and she was worried that her voice was going to crack. Luna told her to close her eyes and leave it to her. They were coming. As they all jumped on Luna, Luna started defeating them one by one. Layla was amazed because the impact didn't reach her at all. One of the wolves saw Layla and tried to reach her, but Luna created a magic circle and defeated all of them. She then told Layla that she had to practice magic from time to time or it would get rusty. Layla didn't know Luna was strong enough to take down those meanie beasts at once. She realized how rude she was. Suddenly, she saw the signal. The last wolf came and it was the wounded one. Luna told the wolf to consider himself lucky to have made it this far and killed it. It looked like they destroyed the summoning circle too. The group leader asked if she would do it even if it was dangerous before Layla went on the mission, and she recalled how worried he was. She wrote something on a piece of paper and sent it to them. She explained to Luna that she had written down their situation here. Luna said there was still a trace of the pack nearby. It might be that the rest headed towards the students, but if the Crown Prince and the others were there, it would be fine. If Luna was confident, then she was reassured. She decided to regroup with them, but when they returned, they didn't see any of them. She asked Luna if she knew where they were, but she had no idea either. That was her job, actually. Layla was used to camping out when gathering herbs. One night there was no problem, but she still sends messages asking for rescue. She hoped someone would find it. After that, she lit a fire and warmed herself. Luna was surprised that her magic sound could even light a fire. She said it could do all sorts of things. She was not as strong as Luna, but she practiced a bit of magic too. But Luna said she ended up using quite a lot of magic power again. Layla said it was fine. She couldn't have reduced the number of magic wolves like that on her own. Luna asked if she didn't have any magic recovery potions, and she responded that she had given them all to the teacher. Luna couldn't pull off tricks like the Crown Prince Felix could, but if she drank his blood, she said it might help restore her magic. Layla was sure she would be fine after a bit of sleep. With Luna here, camping out was no problem. Luna noticed that Layla really liked her fur and asked if she could pluck some and gift it to her next time. Layla giggled and thanked her. Suddenly, Layla wanted to vent a little. It wasn't for any particular reason, but she felt like she was being crushed by loneliness. Without her family, she felt like there was no one by her side. She was all alone. People were nice to her in the infirmary, but to them, she was just a passerby who happened to be there. She was the one who chose to live and avoid others. Usually she was fine with that, but at times like this, she suddenly felt lonely. It was like the kind of loneliness you feel when everyone pairs up in class, and you're the only one left out. She said she was a troublesome person. Luna asked if the darkness got to her. Even though she wielded dark magic, she was still afraid of the dark. She remembered thinking that during the Moonflower incident too. She thought that since Luna was with her, she wouldn't be scared. Even now, while she was venting, she wasn't afraid. What truly scared her was the darkness of loneliness. Luna once again said that she had a strange soul. She often told her that. She suddenly transformed into her man form and told her to think of her as his older brother for now and cling to her if she wanted. She didn't know if it would comfort her though, but she commented that she would rather not be thought of as that brother of hers. She really hated her brother. Back when she was inside her body, she was impressed that she could even deal with that brother of hers. She truly respected Layla. Layla said that he may not look at it, but he was actually amazing. He was good at managing the estate, capable as an heir, and handled everything well. He was kind and fun to be around too. Back when she lived at home, her brother always came gathering herbs with her. The tent was so fancy it felt like they were enjoying a luxury camping trip, and he was pretty popular due to his handsome face, though she did worry a little about whether he would ever get married. Layla suddenly wondered what would happen to the Loeb interests if they didn't end up with Lady Lily. Lord Harold was such a musclehead that he would probably just live for his work. Lord Noel was a weirdo with a researcher's mindset and he hated people. Lord Yui had sworn loyalty to Lord Felix, and Lord Felix was the most level-headed of them all. So even without love, he would probably still treat his fiancée well. Though in the game he didn't, and Layla died. Luna said that if she accepted the Crown Prince's proposal and became his fiancée, she might find a fair bit of happiness. But that was the route where she died. Getting involved with them in a way that was close to the game scenario still scared him. She was just not ready for romance and all that. But if necessary, she was prepared for a political marriage. Luna found her quite mature. Rather than love and romance, Leela thought a contractual relationship between families might be better. It feels more secure. And if something went wrong, she was sure her brother or her father would handle it well. Luna didn't expect her to be open to marriage. To Luna, Layla had an extreme distrust of people. Because she couldn't trust anyone, she didn't even care who her partner ended up being. She was hitting a sore spot today. Luna found it interesting that she hated people this much, yet she still had feelings like loneliness. She was afraid of being the only one left behind. Layla said it was contradictory, but Luna liked that twisted part of her. She could go anywhere. Even if she didn't get married, she could make a living with a medical license. People tend to find her scary, but since dark attribute magic was the only type besides light that could use healing magic, many healthcare workers in this world had dark magic. So the fact that Layla had dark magic was actually lucky for her. As long as she survived in some way, she considered that a win. As long as she had Luna, that was enough. Luna apologized and reminded her that she couldn't be a replacement for a human. Leela knew that she didn't expect that from her, so there was no need to worry. Spirits never lie to their contractors, and that means a lot to her. The darkness of loneliness was something created by her own distrust of people. Luna asked if she was really that alone. While they were sitting like that, Prince Felix came and saw them together. Luna was shocked, but Prince seemed angry and told Luna to step away from her. Luna realized that this was really a love triangle. Prince Felix grabbed her wrist and dragged her himself. He asked if that hurt and she said she was fine. Luna commented that it was rare to see him that angry. Prince Felix responded that pulling an unmarried woman close like that and holding her shoulders was inappropriate. Luna didn't think there was any need to be so defensive. Nothing was going on between them that should worry him. This actually worked pretty well because Luna wanted to go check out the abnormalities in this area. Luna trusted Layla that she would handle this well and left. Layla told Felix that Luna was like a family to her, a loyal servant, and as he could see, she was perfectly fine. Prince Felix seemed relieved. She said she assumed the others made it down to the town safely. Prince said they were able to meet up with them without any problems. She apologized for getting lost in an unfamiliar place, and before he knew it, it was already dark. He asked why she was apologizing. She responded that it was because she caused him trouble. Prince Felix seemed shocked and told her that she didn't cause him any trouble at all, and he couldn't stop himself from hugging Layla. He said he was just really worried about her. Layla was shocked, so she couldn't really react. He apologized for doing something like that after blaming Luna, but he didn't regret it. He really doubling down on this. Prince noticed that her hands were colder than before. He shared more magic with her to heal her. Her hands started to get warmer. Prince Felix heard that while the teacher was destroying the summoning circle, Layla acted as a decoy. He thanked her for saving them, but Layla said she couldn't lure all of them away. She wondered what happened to the remaining magic beasts. They attacked them too after that. The teacher and Noelle reinforced the barrier and held off the beasts' attacks. Then Harold, Yuri, and he used offensive magic to fight them off. That was the plan. But the magic wolves attacked mercilessly. Then Lady Lily summoned the Spirit of Light and stopped them. Prince Felix said the purified animals returned to the forest. What left an impression was the wolves turning back, as if to thank Lady Lily. It was just like in the scenario. She didn't just preach ideals, she had the strength to carry them out. All the things Layla said about combat probably weren't necessary. In the end, she only came across a nagging noblewoman. No matter how hard she resisted, she was reminded that everything ended up just like the scenario, but she still wondered if she prevented Layla's injury. In the end, she didn't end up unconscious or carried away, and right now she wasn't alone. Layla asked Prince Felix why she was here. She wondered if he would come to rescue her. After she kept rejecting this man over and over, here she was hoping that he would come to rescue her. She felt so dishonest, self-centered, filthy, tainted, and disgusting. Prince Felix responded that he came back because he forgot something. Layla asked if he found it. He turned to her, smiled like she was the one he had forgotten, and said he found it. Layla noticed his simple word game and was touched. Her eyes were torn up, so Felix handed her a napkin. She realized that he was the one she loved. Prince Felix said they would head to the knight's outpost, where the others were, once it was lit out. It wasn't strange that he, who came back for something he forgot, happened to run into her, who got lost. They headed to the same place anyway. When Layla opened the napkin he gave her, she realized that it was her letter. Luna suddenly appeared and noticed that there were traces of a magical reverse tracking spell on it. So the Crown Prince could use that kind of magic too. Luna was about to say out loud that he was searching for her, but Prince covered Layla's ears and told Luna not to say anything more. While he was telling Luna something, Layla could only focus on how much her chest was hurting. In the next scene they finally returned to the others and Lily seemed relieved that Prince Felix was safe. They were all shocked to see Layla and Prince Felix together. Harold told Prince Felix that he shouldn't sneak off on his own. Felix said he remembered something he had forgotten, and he summoned him the moment he got lost. He recognized his master's magic power. This much was nothing for him. He said he just happened to run into Lady Layla after passing through the forest. The other students said he was the one who was sometimes in the infirmary, so they assumed he was Layla's attendant. Lily said she thought for sure they were together. Prince Felix responded that he wished he had been the one to save her, but real life didn't play out as romantically as a story. He was so calm and composed, unlike Layla, who was sweating from nervousness. Lily then told Layla that she didn't even need to fight. Layla said she helped in other ways. Lily thanked her for recognizing that. She said she thought she might hate her. Layla said she was just worried and ended up saying too much back then. They were amazed by how kind Layla was. The teacher said he would like to ask a few questions and asked them to come to the back room. While walking to the room, Prince Felix whispered to Layla that they managed to cover it up. Layla was questioning how she even managed to interact with him until now. Her face was a little red. She said it might be from being out in the cold. He told her to make sure she rests today instead of working. She realized that she was a working woman. She was entrusted with this job, and yet here she was, getting distracted by romance. It was like she came here for matchmaking. But looking at Prince Felix, she was even redder now. She panicked. She didn't come to this academy just for work. There was a practical exam coming up soon for official graduation qualifications too. She reminded herself that she didn't have time for romance. In the next scene they were in the practical exam and Lady Vivienne didn't seem too skilled in controlling fire magic. Layla was ashamed. The teacher said she didn't just burn the target, she obliterated it, which was a major fail. The other tests were going so well, she said that they weren't using fire magic that often. It might not cause problems in daily life or work, but the teacher asked what she would do if she encountered a beast weak to fire. She said she would burn it to a crisp. The teacher admitted that she was more of a musclehead than she expected. Fire magic wasn't just about burning things. She created a fire and told her to try touching it. Layla was shocked because even though it was hot, she could still touch the fire. She explained that this was fire magic that didn't burn. It could cause mild burns without setting someone ablaze or only affect specific targets. It would be useful if someone were taken hostage. By learning these techniques, she would become a better magic user, and that's why she was asking Layla to do her best before the retest. Layla once again realized how much time she didn't have for romance. The teacher asked if she was going to attend the welcome party as a student or a teacher. The academy's welcome party was also in the scenario. There were dance scenes with each romance target, a classic dreamy otome game setup. Naturally, Layla appeared in it too. She said she would attend as a medical assistant. The teacher found her diligent. Having a medical officer on site was a big help. There are always a few students who get a little too wild and rowdy. She said teachers were required to wear dresses on the day of the event, and the academy lent her one if she needed. Luna reminded her not to forget her glasses. She asked if it would be alright if she wore something easy to move in since she would be working there. That was fine, but a lab coat would stand out a bit too much. Layla had an idea about that. The day of the welcome party arrived, and the maids were shocked that Layla was wearing the same clothes as they were. They begged her to stop, but she was fine with it. She accepted that she might have gone a bit overboard, but it was easy to move in and she wouldn't stand out if she blended in. It was actually a pretty good idea. She also admired these kinds of things in her past life. A maid girl with glasses was the best thing ever. Luna was puzzled as to why her master was so thrilled about dressing like a servant. Layla knew she could never understand this kind of thing. From where Layla was standing, she could see the whole venue. She decided to keep an eye on Lady Lily and the others too, just in case. In the game, if Lily chose Lord Felix, Layla would always end up in conflict with her, skipping over the fiancé to have the first dance with another woman. Of course, people would find that strange. It didn't matter to her who Prince Felix chose to dance with now, but even if he didn't mean anything by it, if he escorted someone to this party, everyone would assume things. She heard people saying his name and Lady Lily with her dress. Even though she hadn't seen them yet, she assumed Lady Lily chose Lord Felix. When she turned to them, she saw Prince Felix and Prince Yuri both escorting Lily. That was clever. Being escorted by both princes was a declaration from the royal family that they would protect the one with light magic. This party was a little different from the scenario too. She noticed that Lily was grabbing Prince Felix's arm, and this made her feel something odd. Luna noticed that her magic was unstable and asked if she was angry. She said she wasn't angry, but Luna still reminded her not to push herself too hard and tell her if anything happens. She said she was fine. Right now she was Layla Vivienne, assistant medical officer. Her top priority was staying alive. That's why she started this job. But now she takes pride in it. She noticed a woman not feeling well and immediately went and asked if she was okay. She said that she suddenly felt nauseous. While she was taking care of the woman, Prince Felix continued greeting the guests. After healing the woman, she thanked Layla and said she was worried she wouldn't be able to dance. The music was about to start. She told Luna to watch over the hall for herself just during the first dance, and if anything happens, she asked her to call her. That was a piece of cake for Luna, so she transformed into a bird and started looking at the salon from a better place. Layla went to the balcony to catch a breath. She felt pathetic about leaving the work for personal reasons. Suddenly, she heard something and flinched. It was Prince Felix. She greeted him, but she was still surprised. She asked if it was all right for him to skip the first dance. He said it was just a school party, so he wasn't obligated since he didn't have a fiancé. Seeing him not dancing with anyone, Layla somehow felt relieved. Prince Felix said it took him a while to find her because of that outfit of hers. She said she dressed like this for work, as it was easier to move in. Prince suddenly started playing with her hair and said there wasn't anyone else with such beautiful hair color as hers. He suddenly kneeled in front of her and said that he just wanted to see that beautiful silver hair flowing, and ended up messing it up. He asked her to grant this poor man who had been chasing this color all over the place a moment of her time and kissed her hand. Layla was frozen. She said she had already had a lovely event. If she were to spend time with him, she would rather dress as a proper lady, looking her best. Prince told her not to worry about that because he couldn't take his eyes off her either way. She said the girl of the world would weep if they heard that. Prince Felix said he had been enchanted by a delicate little fairy and got carried away a little. He stood up. She asked if he was the one who started this whole act. He apologized and said he didn't think she would actually go along with it. It was the first time he had heard her talk like that. She responded that she activated lady mode since they were in a part. She didn't normally speak that way. Prince said a noble couldn't avoid society forever. He asked if she had been working this whole time. She said quite a few people got injured or felt unwell. This was a rare night and there was no one else here, so he asked if she would dance with him for a bit. Layla responded that she would rather not. He said it might help clear her mind, but she decided to joke around to clear up this embarrassment and said he could ask Lord Harold if he was so eager to dance. He responded that Harold would probably prefer spring over dancing. He offered his hand and asked if she didn't want to dance with him. There was no way Layla could refuse this man. While dancing, Layla realized why she didn't want to dance with him, because it just felt too good. Prince Felix complimented how good a dancer she was. He had never felt such perfect harmony with a partner before. He grabbed her hand more stiffly and called her name. She thought he was going to say something, but he said he just wanted to say her name. Layla felt like she was dreaming right now. While dancing, Layla prayed that he wouldn't notice that there was something wrong with her. When the first dance was over, Prince Felix asked her to dance with him again sometime and left to join the party. If Layla wishes for anything more, she might be punished for it. After this, no matter who the prince dances with, she was sure she wouldn't feel that heavy weight again. She didn't want to go too far with her jealousy and returned to the salon. Luna came and asked if she was all right now. She thanked Luna and asked if there was anything abnormal. Luna said her uncle was here. The people were equally shocked because normally they didn't even get to see him in the infirmary. Theodore noticed Layla and said he had been looking for her. Layla asked what was going on. For Theodore, who hated people, coming to the venue was unbelievable. He said it must be tough staying in place like this all night, so he decided to take over for her. The infirmary barely gets visitors, so it was better if she stayed there. But he was holding a big piece of cake, so she understood that he was here for the cake. She said she wished he had told her that beforehand. But what's done was done, so she decided to wait in the infirmary. Before leaving, she looked around and saw everyone gathered. Lord Noel noticed her looking at them and started walking towards her. He closed the door in an instant. She asked if he was heading back as well. He said he had hit his limit. He got permission from Prince Felix to slip out. A place like that was way too suffocating for him. Coming up with excuses to refuse dances, dodging politely, it was way too much hassle, and he was bad at that sort of thing. Layla congratulated him and assumed he was exhausted. There was a reason for his blunt way of speaking. He came to their country, the Kingdom of Creation, and started learning the language exactly 1 year before enrolling. Though he was born here, he actually spent most of his childhood abroad. He had no trouble with pronunciation or conversation, but he seemed to struggle with formal speech and honorifics. All of this was to escape persecution from those who believed in the superstition surrounding red eyes. That was also why Prince Felix didn't scold Luna for her language. Lord Noel said that because the prince disappeared halfway through for the restroom, he lost his chance to slip away. That was when he was actually dancing with Layla. In the game, Lord Noel left right after the party started. So that weird feeling earlier was because of that. Noel said a girl was dancing with him now, so he left the rest to her. Layla asked if she had got something to eat, but he didn't. Something came up at the dorm, so that was fine. He suddenly started yelling that it wasn't like he randomly wandered around and missed dinner, but it was clear that he missed it. He then noticed her outfit and asked. She responded that she wasn't allowed to wear a lab coat, so this was kind of a disguise. While they were talking, Lord Noel suddenly stopped and stared at the end of the hall. He said he sensed some bad energy. Luna told Layla that this presence was not normal. Suddenly, Layla remembered the empty corridor in the scenario. It was time for the next event. But this was strange because in the original scenario, after the first dance, the heroine leaves the venue, heads to the powder room to fix her dress and accessories, and meets him there. But Lady Lily was still in the hall right now. The scenario had already broken down. Lord Noel said they used to use invisibility magic to check things out. If nothing was wrong, that was fine, but if anything happened, she would call for help via magic. There had already been several differences from the original scenario, but what they were about to see was completely unknown. They arrived at the place and a man seemed like he already noticed them. Noticing his vivid crimson hair, he was Crimson Catastrophe. Layla never cleared the root of the hidden character, so it was her first time seeing him. Crimson was an alias. He abandoned his real name and chose to go by the one he gave himself. All she knew about him was what was written in the character bio. He said he never imagined he would get caught. Since they were all here, he wanted to have a little chat. Lord Noel shielded Layla and said they should pull back for now. Crimson mocked him for being a knight protecting a princess. He was seeing right through the invisibility magic. He said that this was a well-crafted spell and he had even adjusted it so they could see each other. The efficiency and structure of the spelling were almost artistic. It was a shame to destroy it, but he still grabbed his spear and destroyed their magic with one move. While they were in shock, he said they could talk more easily now. Lord Noel said they need to call the professors as fast as possible. Crimson used his dark attribute magic and attacked Noel, but he deflected his spell with one hand. Crimson seemed impressed. He wondered what Noel would do if he were facing an attack from his abyss and released his spirit. Layla recalled him having a contracted spirit. Noel was nervous. Layla couldn't believe he would do that because a human could never defeat a spirit, so she had no choice but to use Luna against his spirit. Crimson didn't expect her to summon a whole spirit. Luna and his spirit started battling. Their battle was about to hit Layla too, but Noel protected them. Noel couldn't see spirits, so he was puzzled as to what was going on. Layla had to explain to him that their spirits were fighting, his and hers. Noel was shocked that she had a spirit. She said she could see his spirit too, so he could leave this to her. Noel had no choice but to do that. Luna was burning through his mana fast, so Layla was worried. Crimson's spirit was also super powerful, so it was a harsh battle. With one claw move, Noel's protection barrier couldn't make it and exploded. But Noel was still holding on even though he had no idea what was going on. He might not be able to see the spirits, but he could see mana particles. He didn't know what spirits were doing, but if he followed the particles, he could at least protect the building. He told Layla to focus on her own task and not worry about him. She thanked Noel and drank a mana potion. She told Luna not to hold back. Crimson seemed serious for a moment and then he started laughing. He said that this was fun. At first he only planned to catch a glimpse of the light magic user today. But Layla was really amazing. He said he had taken quite a liking to her. Crimson told Abyss to stop the fight. Abyss stopped and said they were just getting started. She seemed annoyed that he didn't let her enjoy a battle once in a while. She was actually really cute. Luna said that a spirit who couldn't even obey their own master's command seemed to have fallen quite low, unlike her. Layla told her not to provoke him. Abyss said she was an insolent little pup and wondered if she should teach her some manners. Crimson told her to stop, and if she was going to be so pathetic, she wouldn't order her into battle ever again. Abyss seemed like she really hated that. Crimson said his cat had not yet been properly trained. Layla responded that cats were fickle creatures and that they were not animals he could train. He told her not to be wary. It saddens him a little to have such eyes turned on him by a beautiful girl. He wouldn't lay another hand on her, nor would he tell or even hint to others about her. Luna said he was not lying. Crimson was honored to receive the approval of her spirit. They were both contractors of dark spirits, and he wanted to get along with her. Layla wanted to observe the situation first. Noel told him that he infiltrated the academy and attacked them. Crimson considered this a little game and said he was just happy to have found a potential friend. Since the teachers were approaching, Crimson said it was time for him to leave. He said that his name was Crimson Catastrophe, and told her to remember this, but he used telepathy to say that. He kissed Layla's hand, and before Noel could do something about it, he disappeared. The teacher asked if they were alright. They told them what happened, and Noel informed the teachers that 2 of them managed to hold him off, so the damage was minimal. He also questioned this academy's security. The teacher told him to watch how he speaks. The other teacher said they would investigate this area now and asked Layla to patrol the grounds. Luna said he would try to follow his tracks as well. Noel wanted to accompany her. While they were walking, Noel said he had never seen a spirit before. She said that her spirit said that if you're a skilled magic user of the same element, you could see the form of other spirits and hear their voices. Now that she thought about it, she heard Abyss's voice too. Noel asked if someone like him wasn't good enough. She said she was the one most confused by all this. Layla then wondered why he didn't tell the professor that she had contracted a spirit. Noel responded that people would use her if they knew she had power, and that was no fun. She wouldn't be able to stare at her like a freak either. Besides, unlike those with light magic, there was no one to protect her, and he couldn't always be near her. That's why he was not going to tell Prince Felix either, and he promised not to tell him about those weird glasses that spill magic particles in front of Prince Felix. She must have a reason for hiding her face. Layla was shocked that he knew about that too. Noel said he didn't plan on saying anything, so there was no need to worry. Luna appeared and said she had figured out how he got in. Noel asked if he was Layla's attendant or something, and Luna introduced herself as the Dark Spirit. She said she had something to tell him as well, so she would speak to him in this form. Noel realized that the prince's suspicions were a needless worry. Layla asked what Luna found out. She said that he entered by way of an alternate dimension. There were faint traces left. The other world was a place where phantom beasts and the like live. The other side of the coin, so to speak. She couldn't believe a human could enter and exit it. That man might be exceptionally talented. In that case, strengthening security wouldn't do any good. Luna said she couldn't do anything about that. Noel said this was all kind of a mess. Layla said they would just have to focus on what to do after he was already infiltrated. That alias was supposed to be revealed only to the heroine. Layla was still puzzled as to why he told her his name and why he was keeping quiet about her spirit. It seemed the game's knowledge might only be useful as a reference now. And Lord Noel's eye ability never appeared in the scenario either. Without knowing the capture routes, she couldn't understand his true intentions. A few days later, following the Dark Mage's intrusion, the Academy's security was made even more stringent. A defensive barrier was placed around the entire Academy, and reinforcements were requested from the Royal Knights and the Magic Knights. Prince Felix's work coordinating with the Night Orders for Lady Lily's protection had increased yet again. He heard the disturbing news from Noel that he may be using the other world to get in, but if the one with light magic was the target, then they couldn't just leave this alone. He was thinking about that issue while also studying with Lily. She said she didn't know which meaning of the grammar here was correct, so he showed her. He would have preferred to avoid being alone with Lady Lily. Midterm exams were coming up soon and she wasn't confident, so she asked him to help her study. He said that was fine, but in that case they should all get together, but Lila only wanted to study with Felix, alone. Prince Felix wondered how it came to this. His heart was heavy, but as the crown prince he must not let it show on his face. When he enrolled in this academy, his father, His Majesty the King, gave him one order: win over the one who possesses light magic. The balance among their kingdom's mages began to waver with the appearance of light magic. Certainly, if they could draw her into the royal faction and take control, they could avoid needless conflict. Even though this close proximity was unwelcome to him, the girl in question had been overusing her magic and had, as expected, ended up being targeted. Honestly, he just wished she would just keep a low profile. He hasn't been able to visit Spirit Lake recently either. The feelings that Lady Lily had for him were the same as those he held for the Moon Goddess. He knew that if that affection had been directed at someone else, he wondered if this situation would have turned out differently. He overheard Lord Harold and Lord Noel studying together at the back. It was so peaceful over there. He was using his charm-enhanced magic to hear what they were talking about. He thought it was cruel to ask Noel about Harold's problem, who understands things intuitively, and suddenly, he heard another familiar voice. It was Layla, sitting with Harold and Noel. She was carrying so many specialized books. In addition to her infirmary duties, it seemed she was also being made to run errands for medical officer Vivienne. She heard her asking for a moment with Harold. She showed him the trick in the question and started explaining it to them. He noticed that she stepped in because she couldn't bear to watch. They seemed like they figured out after she helped them and thanked her. The other students approached Layla and asked her to teach them as well. The applied problems were too complicated for them. Layla was about to refuse, but Noel told the girls to use the open seats. They thanked her. Layla decided to cast a soundproofing spell so they wouldn't bother anyone. After that, Prince Felix couldn't hear anything. Layla was just tutoring them, but she looked like she was having so much fun. The everyday sight of students helping each other study before an exam. Just seeing her there, the one who usually works with such a grown-up expression, seemed strange. He wondered if that was how she really was, at her own age. Thinking about it again, he didn't know why she was working at this age. He wondered what would happen if Layla had enrolled in the academy as a student, and what would happen if he were free. He dozed off thinking about possibilities and dreams about Layla when Lady Lily asked what was wrong. He said it was nothing and continued studying. When Layla finished her whole page, he stood up. Even though he knew that speaking up now would only ruin the atmosphere, he still did it. This was excruciating. He said she had made a lot of progress, so she could handle the rest without him. Lily was shocked that he was leaving. He said he just remembered he had some duties to attend to. That was a light. He just didn't want to be in this place. When he was leaving the library, he made eye contact with Layla and they greeted each other. He asked if the study session was on a break. He said she was just getting some materials and apologized if they were being too loud. He said it was fine, but Layla noticed that he was upset about something. She asked if he was studying with Lady Lily as well. She happened to see him when she was looking for a seat earlier. He said he was. He wasn't very good at teaching, but it was her wish. Layla said they seemed so close and it was so youthful that it made her envious. Prince Felix asked if that was how it looked to her. Layla realized what she said and apologized. She said she didn't know anything about the two of them. Layla was unusually sensitive to the feelings of others. Luna said so as well, so it must be true. Prince said that was a mean thing to say. He was also feeling envious of how much fun they were all having. He was heading back to the royal castle now, so he said goodbye. Layla stopped him and said that if he ever feels tired he could come rest in the infirmary anytime. Prince Felix seemed relieved. Back at the castle, Prince Felix was wondering what the hell he was doing. Liam Felix's personnel came after they told him that Prince Felix was here. He said he didn't expect him to be back here today. He looked pretty beat too. Prince said a lot had happened. Liam figured he was a little down in the dumps. Prince Felix didn't notice that he looked depressed. Liam asked what happened and told him not to tell him he broke his heart. No way could happen to the prince. But seeing his reaction, he regretted saying those words. He said he was kind, and he was here if he wanted to talk. Prince said it wasn't like that. Liam suggested eating for now. Prince Felix was too overwhelmed with official duties, school life, Lady Lily and her protection, his first love, the goddess, and Layla. His mind was in chaos, but everyone was always the same. All he could do was fulfill his duties day by day with these complicated feelings. In the next scene, Abyss was reminding Crimson that his order was to create a foothold to win over Lily Joelm. Crimson said he could just go again, and he simply got carried away and had fun that time. Abyss knew that this was the first time she had ever seen him laugh like that. It seemed Crimson's lord was not satisfied with just them. It would be easier for them if they could just push everything onto the wielder of light magic. Abyss said even though it was an order, he didn't seem very motivated, and she was so loyal. Crimson said it was because he happened to learn the truth and he just didn't have high expectations for the power of light magic. Personally, he was interested in the fact that she was a spirit contractor, but the two who sensed his intrusion and rushed over were odd. The one famous in these parts, Noelle of the red eyes, and the girl with the glasses. He really wanted to know more about that young lady. Meanwhile, Lady Leela was working. She kept thinking about that talk with Prince Felix at the library. She didn't know why she ended up saying something like that. She was supposed to have decided to lock these feelings away, but the truth is, the one she was jealous of was Lady Lily. Even though she knew it wasn't what Prince Felix wanted, she said something unnecessary to cover up her own feelings and she ended up hurting him. She wondered if it was because they hadn't spoken since then that she had this nagging feeling. Suddenly, she felt something behind her, but when she turned, she didn't see anything. She asked Luna if that presence just now was from the other world again. Luna said there was a spirit reaction, so that was highly likely, but it was too difficult to pursue now. Just as Layla feared, it seemed the Crown Prince and his party would be leaving for an inspection soon. So that part was going according to the scenario. In Prince Felix's route, an incident occurred right after the exams ended. A mass kidnapping incident targeting citizens with magic. The heroine and Prince Felix, out on an inspection, happened to be at the scene. The culprits were corrupt nobles trying to raise a rebellion against the royal family. To put it simply, Prince Felix's route was a story about dealing with the conspiracies and darkness swirling around the royal family. Luna reported it anonymously as Layla instructed him to do. What worried Layla was that if this was happening in reality, it would affect the future of this country. She decided to patrol the area too. Luna asked if she was going to fight. If she had to, she would. If she could stop it now, there was a chance nothing would happen in the future. And she had never seen the names of those corrupt nobles in this reality. The incident might not even have happened in the first place. But the direwolves that attacked during the gathering training kind of proved her wrong. If it was all just needless worry, then they were fine. She told Theodore that she was going out to buy medicinal herbs and asked him to take care of any visitors. Above all, she couldn't just pretend not to see innocent people's lives being threatened. While walking, a man approached her, but she said she was in a hurry and literally ran away from him. She thought she would dress in a way that wouldn't reveal she was a noble, but it didn't seem like it worked. The scene of the incident was in the lower town, a short distance from the royal capital. Using large-scale magic, they draw a magic circle and summon magical beasts. By having them devour sacrifices, they steal their magical power, seeking to receive the blessings of that power. In other words, it was similar to the gathering training when a huge number of direwolves appeared. Come to think of it, she wondered if it all started back then. There was a malevolent aura everywhere, but it was strongest up ahead. She went to the ruins and followed the aura. This was an incredible miasma. When she entered the place, she saw a magic circle in the process of being formed. Luna pointed at the people and it seemed that the incident really did happen. She was so relieved that they made it in time and started untying people. She told Luna to protect the people here with a barrier. She wanted to conserve her magic, so she was going to try to handle this herself first. Luna told her to leave it to him and said that while he was at it, he would eliminate any enemies she missed. The same direwolves appeared from the magic circle, but this time there were no injured beasts. She grabbed a giant sickle and slashed the wolf that came at her. Seeing that she could kill them, her confidence increased. She could fight them if they were just average magical beasts. Luna already reported it, so reinforcements should be here soon. If she could just hold out until then, she would be fine. However, Luna felt something bad coming at her, and he was right. A giant three-headed wolf appeared from the magic circle. This was not in the game for sure, so Layla didn't know what to do. She dodged its attack at the last second and asked Luna how she was supposed to fight a Cerberus. Luna wanted to take over, but she told him to stay as he was and keep protecting them. She didn't know if her barrier could block that fire attack. If she could seize control of the enemy's flames with her fire magic, she could manage that, but fire magic was her least favorite magic. While she was running away, more direwolves kept getting summoned. She had to attack somehow. She heard someone saying he would help, and was so happy that a knight came to help. The knight killed the monster with his slashes and amazed Layla. He said that he never expected to find her struggling here all by herself. The knight who saved her was Lord Harold. Layla was shocked because she didn't know why he was here and what this magic was. Harold couldn't help but comment that her battle was worth admiring. He would have liked to observe more, but he couldn't very well say that with a foe this big. Even though he was slashed in half, he started regenerating. There was no end to this. It was a bit dirty, but he suggested ganging up on it. He said he would get in the beast's line of sight and told Layla to get behind it. Lord Harold had a fire-type magic. She thought that combining his extraordinary physical abilities with magic would create tremendous power, but she had never thought that he could change the properties of fire into lightning. He really amazed Layla. The aftershock of the electric attack was reaching even the surrounding direwolves. Just as they planned, Layla went behind the monster, and they planned to do a pincer attack. She jumped on the monster's back and they attacked simultaneously. It was a brutal attack, as Luna said, but Layla's glasses were broken. After killing the monster, Harold had recovered the core. With this, they didn't have to worry about it reviving. Layla noticed the summoning circle getting a little fainter compared to before. It was about to reach its summoning limit. Harold was surprised that she could see it even without her glasses. He said that Prince Felix should be arriving shortly. The knightly order he requested should be arriving around now as well. Layla was panicked that Prince Felix was also coming. Harold said they received a report of suspicious individuals during their inspection of this area, but there were several other places where citizens were being held captive. So Prince and he quickly split up to deal with them. Layla didn't expect Prince Felix to deal with this directly. She asked if Lady Lily was also on that inspection. He said she was with them, but it was dangerous, so Prince Yuri and the knights accompanying him should be guarding her now. In the scenario, the prince was the one protecting Lady Lily. She thought it might be changed because she reported it. Harold then wondered why she was here. Layla said she had some business at a nearby apothecary, and sensed a disturbing presence, so she came to check it out. Thanks to her, it seemed there were no casualties. Harold thanked her for her cooperation. The last wolves appeared, and Harold got ready to attack them. Layla didn't expect new ones to come. However, a fire started, and the monsters froze. The air was as cold as a blizzard. Recognizing this azure flame, Harold said their turn was over. Prince Felix arrived. He asked if he should just burn this summoning circle too and be done with it. Prince's magic was a cold flame that defies the laws of physics. The magical beasts were being burned to ashes the moment they were created. It was totally overpowered, just as she thought. Harold told Prince that the victims were in the back. A protective barrier was up until just a moment ago, so everyone was safe. They counted on knights to protect the victims. Layla noticed that she hadn't seen Luna. It was a little awkward to face Felix in this situation, but Lord Harold didn't seem to doubt that she was here, so she comforted herself that it would be fine. Just in that moment, Luna handed her glasses to her. However, Prince Felix saw her face before she could put it on. He immediately recognized her face and was shocked. Layla wondered how many times she was going to make that mistake. No matter how he looked at it, this was her real face. Prince Felix didn't tell Layla anything, and asked Harold if the woman who was with him was an acquaintance of his. Harold was confused and was about to say that she was Layla, but Layla grabbed his wrist and whispered to him that she didn't want her face to be known, so she asked him not to say that she was Layla. Harold was shocked and nervous because he didn't want to lie to Prince Felix. However, he went along with her and said she was an acquaintance of his, not some suspicious person. He added that she helped in the battle this time too, and that she was very skilled. Layla still had a feeling that she hadn't fooled him, but she was still thankful to Harold for lying to him for her. Prince Felix grabbed Layla's wrist and said he was so happy he finally got to meet her. Luna told Layla that if he heard her voice his identity would be revealed, so she didn't speak. Prince told the others to confirm the destruction of the summoning circle. While the knights were trying to treat people, Layla let herself go from his arms and went to heal the others. Prince asked if she could perform first aid, and Harold confirmed him. Prince told Harold to assess the situation and asked him to show him the damaged areas nearby as well. After that, they left. Layla was relieved that they got away from them for now. She said that afflictions from mana or miasma would worsen if not dispelled. She only had a small supply of medicine, so she asked the others to send someone to a nearby apothecary. For those with deep wounds, she was going to use healing magic. It's a gradual effect, and it wouldn't make the pain disappear instantly, but that was all she could do. Luna appeared and told Layla that he sensed a strong magical presence. Lady Lily and Prince Yuri appeared with teleportation magic. She said she would heal them right away and did it right away with her bird. The people who were healed instantly told her that she was a saint. Layla had never seen such powerful healing magic before, so this reaction was normal. Lady Lily's talent as a light magician had blossomed. Coming face to face with her didn't seem like a wise idea, so they decided to return to the academy. She decided to take a back alley just in case. Prince saw her face, but luckily they were able to part ways with the matter still unresolved. He was in a position of responsibility, so she supposed he couldn't afford to get involved with her. He was able to act calmly without being swayed by his emotions, but she still remembers him abandoning his innocent fiancée so easily. Her head understood, and yet her heart didn't want to accept that fact. While walking, she once again bumped into Felix. She tried to run away, but he caught her. He assumed she was wondering why he was here. He said that he received a report via telepathy. It said that if he were to return to that place now for certain reasons, things would get complicated, so he thought he would hide out for a bit. It certainly does seem like it would become an open secret since Lily was there. He asked if she took this deserted path to avoid him. Layla had no choice but to smile faintly. He asked who she was, and he could tell from her conduct and mannerisms that she was the daughter of a nobleman. Layla was still silent. Prince Felix put his hand on the wall and restricted her movements. He asked if she wouldn't even let him hear her voice. Layla had no choice but not to talk. This was a troublesome emotion. It was like the strength was draining from the hand he was touching. However, she did not expect him to say that he would kiss her if she didn't say anything within 10 seconds. Layla was shocked. As he touched her face and started approaching her, her body was frozen there. He touched her lips and counted down to 0. She had to use physical enhancement magic to force her way out of this. However, she accidentally bit his finger. She was shocked and didn't know what to do. Prince said just one handkerchief would fix this. Because she tried to use magic, she used too much force and bit him. As a lady, doing something so gruesome was unthinkable. Prince Felix apologized to her and said he didn't actually mean to do it. She was so stubborn that he felt like teasing her a little. But this might be just his lucky day. It seemed she had swallowed his blood because he could sense his own magic from inside of her. Blood was a mass of magical energy. As a magician herself, she would know that. It would eventually blend with her own magic, but the blood of royalty was strong, so it wouldn't disappear for a while. It was easy to search for his own presence, so he was confident he could see through any disguise she wore. So he approached her ear and whispered, saying he would come see her again tomorrow. Layla was shocked and she started walking away in panic. When she left, Prince Felix couldn't believe how convenient this incident was because he already figured out that the mood goddess was Layla. He figured from her similar build, the way that straight-laced Harold trusted her, the figure who skillfully administered first aid, the fact that she wouldn't speak in front of him, and the fact that Layla's glasses were some kind of magic tool. The woman who was his first love and the woman he wished would stay by his side for the first time was actually the same person. He had dreamt of how wonderful it would be if the two silver-haired women were the same. Among those of the royal family, his blood had an especially strong power of interference, an absolutely terrifying substance that could even manipulate others at will. To become a person worthy of possessing this blood, he had undergone harsh magical training since he was a child. This ability, unrecorded even in the archives, is what he would consider to be nothing short of a forbidden spell, and Layla was the one to taste it for the first time. Lady Lily was causing trouble again, so he was sure more fun work awaited him tonight. But it was nothing to him. He decided to take care of the work in front of him first. Meanwhile, Layla was crying in the infirmary. Luna told her that there was still a way, but she said that she knew fully how strong His Highness's magic was, and it was impossible now. Luna gave her his personal recovery potion. He said he had completely forgotten about it. She had her uncle develop it at the cost of his own sleep, and his blood was used in its ingredients. Layla was shocked. He said it was a good idea. Even if he used too much of her magic, this should allow her to recover more of it. The only thing that could counter the blood of the crown prince would be his blood, the blood of a spirit. The idea was that if she drank this potion, she could overwrite his magical presence. He might be surprised by the presence of a powerful spirit, but not having her identity exposed was more important. If she could erase Prince Felix's presence, it would actually serve as proof that she was someone else. She couldn't afford to worry about the details, so she opened the bottle and drank it. It surprisingly tasted like milk tea. Apparently, Theodore was particular about the flavor. She felt like Luna's usual presence had grown. Luna said his magic should blend with hers right away. She decided to do some compounding to calm her nerves, but she had no time to do that because Prince Felix came. Layla greeted him. He said the lights were on, so he thought he would stop by. He asked if she was working. She said she woke up early, so she started working right away. He said he thought maybe she was urgently restocking because she used a lot. Layla tried to calm down. She said she was just making the usual amount, and she was just about to start making it. Luna told her to calm down. Her magic was in complete disarray. Layla asked if there was something she could help him with. She noticed Prince Felix's dark circles under his eyes and figured that he wasn't able to sleep because of yesterday's commotion. He said there was something he wanted to check. He suddenly seemed surprised when he felt this presence. Layla suggested getting a little rest, and said there was still time before class. She smiled and said he was fine. His gaze felt so tender. He said he was swamped with work and he had to go. When he left, Prince Felix confirmed from her left hand that she was indeed the goddess he had seen that day.